And they lead the Southwest Conference. A win today would bring them one step closer to a Cotton Bowl. And we'll be back after this word from Budweiser.
Like many before, you came here asking for just one thing.
Sadowski, Shibowski.
A chance.
Pronounced Shibowski.
You're gonna make it here. You make America work, and this one's for you.
Here's to you. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
This one's for you.
True Value Hardware stores unravel the mystery of choosing great gifts for do-it-yourselfers by offering the Poland 14-inch gas chainsaw for just $119.99. Or choose the 12-inch electric chainsaw by Remington for only $48.99. For neat hedges, give the Black & Decker 16-inch hedge trimmer just $38.99 and earn a $5 mail-in rebate. And give neat edges with the Weed Eater gas trimmer edger. It's only $78.88 at most True Value Hardware stores and home centers.
Now's the time to vacation in Europe with Delta. We'll give you a free car for a week, a free hotel room for a night, and just $52 a night after that. We'll fly you to England, or France, or Germany, or Ireland. For prices in your city, call your travel agent. Europe and Delta.
TCU will kick off to Texas A&M. Justo Gonzalez sends the ball down the field for Rod Harris, who's the up man at the 10-yard line, and here he comes on the return. And Harris gets out to the 29-yard line, bringing the ball back 19 yards. Let's look at that Texas A&M offense.
And starts right out with Kevin Murray, an outstanding quarterback. Vic Superback and Woodside, who had a great receiving game last week. We'll look for him on the short passes. The receivers, Bernstein leads the conference. Harrison Walker, outstanding. Walker especially smart in the offensive line. Matt Wilson may be the best center they've ever had, but they're strong up and down.
And so is Kevin Murray at quarterback. Here come the Aggies. And right away, looks to the air, throws it around the Woodside, coming out of the backfield. He's got a first down on a 13-yard pickup at the 43-yard line. And Romeo Smith, the roverback, number 43, makes the tackle. Let's look at that defense now, TCU.
All right, the guy they're missing is Mitchell Benson, the defensive tackle. Hawkins and Simeon are both nose guards, but Simeon has to move over to tackle. Caldwell, an outstanding rusher. Harris, they're going to work him over on the short passes. He had a rough time last week. Dean is the leading tackler. Romeo Smith, a new man in that defensive secondary. They'll pick on him, too.
Woodside now gets the call on the run, swinging around the right side, gets across the 45 to about the 47-yard line, where Kevin Dean, number 97, the strong linebacker, takes him to the turf after a 3-yard pickup.
Talking to Jim Wacker yesterday, he's concerned about them going long, A&M, and they'll cover with people. You don't blitz A&M because Murray and his backs are very smart. They pick up the blitz. So what TCU is going to try to do is hold them off on the long pass and cover the short guys.
Walker and Thompson come wide to the left side on second down, and Vic gets the call, breaks one tackle at midfield, and bounces all the way down to the 46-yard line of TCU, where Ron Lewis, number 81, the sophomore defensive end, makes the tackle 7 yards on the play.
Well, Vic coming in has rushed for almost 700 yards. The one thing you need to do if you're going to play A&M is tackle him when you get a shot at him. As you see, TCU has 2 shots at him, don't get him, and he goes for good yardage.
So it's a first down for the Aggies on the 46-yard line of the Frogs. The Frogs haven't won here for a long time. We'll tell you how long in a moment. In motion is Thompson going out and splitting wide to the right side. Now Harris comes in motion to the left, and Murray has some time to throw. As you see, the defense of TCU dropping off. He hits Vic coming out of the backfield. Underneath him, Vic goes all the way down to the 20-yard line. Billy Jones makes the tackle, a gain of 26.
This is what I talked about, dropping people off. You're going to see a 3-man rush. They don't even get close to Murray. Now, this is how Arkansas did it. Now, Vic is going to make a crossing pattern here. Look how much time he has. Murray waits for him to clear. He's got a linebacker, Harris. We talked about him. He got worked over last week. They pick up big yardage again. Harris has got to do a better job covering these backs out of the backfield, or they're going to have to go to a defensive back at linebacker.
Ira Valentine is in. He's on the wing to the left side as the lead drops it to Vic. And he pops across the 15 down to the 13-yard line of TCU, and they got 7 on that one.
Well, they can pass. If they can pass, they can run. TCU has to stop something in order to be in this game, either the pass or the run, and they can make A&M a little bit more predictable. They haven't done it so far.
Jackie Sherrill came here and completely turned this program around. The Aggies, the defending champions of the Southwest Conference and the Cotton Bowl champions of a year ago. Vick takes the pick. Vick a first down and more. He's inside the 5 at the 4, and it's first and goal to go for the Aggies. Another 7-yard pickup.
Offensive line cleared it out on the right side. Here's Simeon playing defensive tackle. Remember, he's a nose guard. He's double-team turned. And down the road they go. Roger Vick inside the 5-yard line.
First and goal for the Aggies on the 4-yard line of TCU. The Aggies send Shea Walker wide to the left side, and in the slot left, they send Tony Thompson. Again, Valentine sets up on the wing. Vick goes back to the right side, running behind Fontenot and Land, and Harris, the weak side linebacker, stops him after a gain of 2 yards. It'll be second and goal to go. Roger Vick, a sophomore from Tomball, Texas, and Tomball High played on this field last night in one of the playoff games. Roger, 6'3", 220 pounds, 689 yards rushing coming into this ball game. All Southwest Conference, in all probability, will make a lot of All-America teams, and most NFL scouts will tell you he'll go pretty high in the NFL draft. Second and goal. A little fake and a little run by Murray, and he's going to come up short. He is stopped by Ron Lewis, number 81, the defensive end, the sophomore, and Tony Brooks, the left cornerback, also a sophomore out of Rockdale, Texas. It'll be third and goal.
Well, Murray almost had this one, but Lewis does a nice job here. He's thinking about running. Now, you see Lewis coming to your picture. He didn't get completely fooled. He was able to force Murray wide. The rest of the defense picked it up. Third down, a little over a yard to go. Big play.
Jim Wacker hoping the defense can bring up a fourth down, but right now it is third down and goal to go. And Vick goes over the stop and into the end zone. Touchdown. Roger Vick getting his 7th touchdown of the year. Texas A&M coaches believe he is the best fullback in America. Now the extra point try coming up. It'll be Scott Slater. Jay Walker will hold it. And Slater puts up the 7th point on the board for the Aggies. So it's Texas A&M 7 and TCU nothing.
Well, this is a textbook drive by Texas A&M. They just did a super job passing and running all the way. Got a penalty on TCU. They're going to decline it. Okay, here comes Vick. Now, with the offensive line, they gave him room to jump. And as you see, he did. He went right over Caldwell, who wasn't even watching. He might have been able to come in. Watch 48 on the right of your screen. He could have just he did get under there. Not a bad play. But Vick, look how high he gets up. This guy weighs 221 pounds. Now watch how high he gets up off the ground. That's just great athletic ability, and up and over for the first touchdown of the game.
And so the Aggies march 70 yards, taking the opening kickoff to a touchdown and lead TCU by a score of 7-0. And we'll be back after this message from Dodge.
There came a moment when all the elements came together, unleashing a superbly equipped new breed of compact car, the Dodge Shadow. With 2 or 4 door availability, affordable price, a $550 protection plan. The new Dodge Shadow is going to cast a...
We are experiencing technical difficulties with the network program. The problem is not in your set or with this station. Please stand by as we hope to have the problem corrected as soon as possible. KHTV Houston, this is 39.
And as Rasco tries to go to the air, it is deflected at the line of scrimmage and knocked away. It is Todd Howard, number 73, the senior from Bryan, who got his hand on the ball.
Passing situation, you want to watch Muller. He leads the team. He's got 8 sacks. Sadler is a great player. O'Brien, a little bit underrated as a nose guard. He holds the middle down real well.
Here comes TCU into the wishbone. The wishbone fullback is Tatum, number 33. He takes the handoff and doesn't go any place, just barely across the 20. He is met by Jay Muller and Rod Sadler, 99, and also Sammy O'Brien, number 90, was in there. The middle three, the down linemen, are really tough, and here's another look at the A&M defensive unit.
And if you're a fan of defense, you know Johnny Holland. He's an All-American. He's a great player. Kelm's the steady one. Howard has 5 sacks. The defensive secondary, the guy there is Carrington. He has 3 interceptions.
It is a third down, about 10, as Rasco in a straight drop now throws, and it is incomplete as he overshoots the intended receiver, Tony Darthard, number 31, the left halfback, and James Flowers, the weak cornerback, had the coverage on the play, and out come the handkerchiefs and the towels as TCU is now faced with a 4th down as A&M's defense stops the Horned Frogs cold.
Yeah, we may see that pattern again, though. I think if that outside receiver had taken that wide to the sideline, he would have been wide open.
All right, Becker back to punt, and does as the kick comes upfield, taken by Rod Harris inside his own 30. And Harris is across the 35 and dropped on the 36 on a short return. Chuck Dickinson, number 45, is there, and we have a timeout with an 8-yard return, 10:30 to go. A&M ahead 7-0.
Introducing gasolines that unlock the power in your car. New Gulf unleaded gasoline with high-tech Techrelene. Techrelene, the only additive in the gasoline chosen by all 4 U.S. car makers for their critical 50,000-mile EPA tests. Why? Because it's so effective for cleaning deposits that clog intake systems and rob engine power. New Gulf unleaded gasolines with Techrelene. Unlock the power.
He lives in jeans.
I've got time.
And those jeans gotta be comfortable.
We'll have a time.
Gotta last.
Baby, all the way down.
Gotta be Wrangler. A legend in jeans.
I've got time.
Apple is sponsoring a Catch a Winner contest. Until December 1st, you can win 1 of 10 Macintosh computer systems. Just visit a participating authorized Apple dealer for details and entry blanks. Winners will be announced every week. Well, the Aggies lead it by a score of 7-0. If they want to make sure that it's clear sailing to the Cotton Bowl, all they've got to do is win the game today and beat Texas on Thanksgiving night. But we'll work on that a little later in the ball game. Right now, the Aggies lead 7-0. The ball on the Aggie 36-yard line. Vick and Woodside are in the eye, and here comes Woodside on the pitch. Is across the 40, moves to about the 44. It was Kevin Dean who made the tackle, and another 7-yard pickup.
Well, this thing's real deep. Look how deep the pitch is. The right side of the offensive line doing a great job clearing them out. See how far back the white shirts are. And all you have to do is put your nose down and run. TCU, the Frogs, are going to have to control that line a little bit more defensively, or they're going to get blown out of this one.
Second down, 3 for the Aggies. Now Murray on the straight drop, fires over the middle, and completes it to Bernstein as tight end, and the Southwest Conference leading pass receiver and the top tight end pass receiver in the country. He gets 5 yards and a first down.
Well, not only football players have to move, but officials do too. You don't want an official to be stationary. Look at the official right in the middle here. He knows he's caught. And see, if Harris isn't there, Bernstein could have used the official as a screen and maybe run that thing for a long gain. That happened to me one time in the game, and it's pretty aggravating.
The Aggies have 5 first downs. A little tomfoolery there. Nice pass to Vick coming out of the backfield. He has knocked it out of bounds to the 45-yard line of TCU. That'll make him 3 yards short of a first down. Greg Moore, 44, the defensive end, got him out of bounds. What is this, Kevin? A&M is making 7 yards continuously on the first down plays, either by pass or run.
Well, if you remember last week with TCU, they had a real bad time with their linebackers trying to cover the short receivers of Texas, and I think that's what's happening here. Their linebackers are good inside. They hit, but they really don't cover receivers that well, and of course A&M knows that.
Second down, A&M back to the run. Woodside has the first down and is out of bounds at almost the 36 as Billy Jones, the free safety, number 1, gets him out of bounds. And they get 9 on that one.
We know that Bernstein's the leading receiver in the conference, but now you're going to see number 29, who's 230 pounds, get positioned, do a little holding, and get the job done. And that's on Caldwell, who's a pretty good defensive lineman. This guy will go high in the draft.
Bernstein was a running back at one time. He came out of Bryan High School. He's 6'3", 235 pounds. Now Woodside comes up on the wing to the left, and Vick goes straight ahead to the 33. So Roger Vick, stopped by Frank Hawkins, 99, the nose tackle, and John Dull, 51, the strong linebacker. Boy, A&M has got some outstanding offensive linemen up there, although they don't feel that they're quite as strong as last year. But my goodness, when you got a Marshall Land up there who's 6'6" and 342 pounds at the right tackle, Jerry Fontenot, one of the best athletes on the team at right guard. You got Bernstein over on that side. Man, it looks like he could run a lot.
Well, I was in their weight room yesterday. That's where they build these guys, and they do a good job. One heck of a weight room.
Second down, Murray option. And a spin by Woodside takes him to the 29. Where Billy Jones, number 1, the free safety, puts him on the turf, but 4 yards are picked up on that play.
There is a drill for running backs where they teach him to spin like this. They teach him to plant a foot. Let's see if he does it. Yeah, that's planned. It's almost like a basketball move, and they have a little thing with dummies where you hit a dummy with your shoulder and you turn around and they get your footwork right. It's important for a back. It takes away that collision from the defensive player. You can't get the momentum into the guy if he's going to spin like that. Dorsett does that a lot.
Ira Valentine, number 42, is coming to tailback. Now moves up on the wing, and that leaves Vick all alone on a third down and short. And Vick follows Valentine, and Vick has the first down with plenty to spare, and is out of bounds on the 19-yard line. Boy, when they line Valentine up on that wing as a blocker, he does a great job for Vick.
Well, Valentine does a great job. But you're also going to see TCU. You see a great block by 42 on the corner, but the Frogs all run into each other. Caldwell gets caught up. He hangs up 2 of his defensive players. They were there, but they just couldn't close that hole, and Vick, the great back, slid through it.
First and 10 of the 19-yard line of TCU. And Woodside is back into the ball game as Murray on a drop, fires, and completes. It's completed to Bernstein again, and a gain of 3 as he is taken out of bounds.
Looks like a pro offense. It looks like Sunday afternoon football, and you really don't see much of this in college. A quarterback that can drop back and pick out receivers and hit secondary receivers and backs out of the backfield as well as he does. But a lot of credit has to go to the receivers of A&M. These guys catch the ball very well, run quick patterns, and have good hands.
Thompson splits wide to the right side, and Shea Walker to the left side for the Aggies on second down. This is Woodside. Woodside sliding to the outside, and he is in there. Touchdown. Woodside, a 15-yard touchdown run. His second touchdown on the ground this year. He has caught 5 passes for touchdowns.
This is one of those teams. They have so many weapons that people get overlooked. Woodside, almost 200 pounds, Runs a 4.440. That's flying, folks. That's wide receiver speed, and you saw it on that play.
Now the extra point try. It'll be Scott Slater, who's 28 out of 29, and now 29 out of 30. So with 7 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the first quarter, the Aggies have jumped into a 2-touchdown lead.
Right side of this line doing a great job. They pull everybody. Fontenot and Lander out here. And now you're going to see the rest. Woodside, there's your 4.4 speed, outrunning the defense. He's taking it outside on defensive backs who don't have a chance against him. Turns it up on the sideline. It's a touchdown. Here, watch this, but look at how much green he's got in front of him. There's a good block on the corner, another block there, and now bang. Here comes the speed. And there goes the touchdown. A lot of weapons on this team.
So the Aggies have had 2 possessions, one a 70-yard touchdown drive, and they just completed a 63-yard touchdown drive to lead 14-0.
Toyota, looking out for you with a powerful new Toyota 4Runner. 4-wheel drive, room for 5, and an unlimited capacity for excitement. Looking out for number 1. Looking out for you has made the Toyota 4Runner #1 in owner satisfaction. Who could ask for anything more?
Bye-bye. Big a big brother taught me responsibility real fast. I take my little sister to ballet, music lessons. I watched her grow up. And boy, the questions she had. I didn't have all the answers, but I was there. Maybe that's why I enjoy being a Delta Redcoat. I get a great feeling out of helping people. Only now, I take my daughter to ballet.
Delta gets you there. We get you there with care.
There's Keith Woodside, who scored his second touchdown on the ground this year. That drive covering 63 yards. It took him 9 plays to get there. Scott Slater will be escorted downfield. The ball will be escorted by the 12th man, and here they come as Brooks is ready to take the kickoff at his own 2. So the 12th man swarms, and Brooks is out of bounds at about the 22-yard line. And it was Ashley Eddington, number 22, who made the hit. Remember to stay tuned to the end of the game today when we'll be selecting the Dodge Player of the Game. Dodge will contribute $1,000 into a general scholarship fund to be distributed among Southwest Conference institutions according to a conference-approved plan. That's the Dodge Player of the Game coming up at the end of today's telecast. Jim Wacker and his Frogs are in trouble in the first quarter. The last and only series they had 3 downs and gained about a yard in front of the ball, and Darthard gets 1 on that one. And Johnny Holland, the All-America linebacker, Mr. Everywhere, if you will, helped by Jay Muller, number 82, the senior from Conroe, and they're on the tackle. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
Well, yesterday, Jackie Sherrill was talking about what he expected from TCU. He felt that Coach Wacker would do just about anything, double reverses, fake punts. He's got his defense ready for just about anything from the Frogs, who have nothing to lose in this one. It's their final game of the year.
Bobby Davis on the dive gets to the 25 for a gain of 3 and runs into Sammy O'Brien, number 90, the junior from Elite, Texas.
It's an important game for TCU, I would think. They need win or lose, and I don't think many people expect them to win. It's important for these young players to know they can play with the talent that A&M has. A&M's one of the better teams in the country. TCU expects to be in the coming years. These young guys need to do something.
And on the counter, Darthard is hit at the 25. Todd Howard, number 73. Johnny Holland, number 11. Boy, that defensive unit just will not let TCU's offense get underway. It is 4th down.
Well, 9 plays they've had, and A&M's had the ball twice, and they've had 2 picture-perfect drives.
Chris Becker, averaging 45.7, the 4th leading punter of the nation, drives it downfield, a real boomer that Harris goes back, takes back at his own 15-yard line. There are about 8 white shirts down the field to cover, and Harris fields those white shirts at his own 22. Chuck Dickinson, number 45 down there, 60-yard kick by Chris Becker, and an 8-yard return. It is 14-0 A&M. And we'll be back after this message from Dodge.
Time was you could put a truck on the market and get by with just an ordinary guarantee.
With Ford and Chevy, it's still that way. At Dodge, we put a standard 550 protection plan on every truck we build. Every truck we build. Now ask yourself, where would you rather be, back there with them or out here with Dodge? America's best back trucks are Ram Tough, and that's guaranteed.
Introducing gasolines that unlock the power in your car. New Gulf unleaded gasolines with high-tech Techroline. Power is robbed by intake deposits. Power is unlocked by Techroline. Techroline, so effective for cleaning intake systems, including fuel injectors, that it's the only additive in the gasoline chosen by all 4 U.S. car makers for their critical EPA tests. New Gulf unleaded gasolines with Techroline. Unlock the power.
The Aggies lead the 5:25 to go in the first period. And Kevin Murray, who has broken all the A&M career passing records in his junior year, is running the offense. And he sends Woodside in motion. Now a little reverse with Bernstein coming back around the left side, going across the 30, and has dropped on the 31. John Booty, the right cornerback, number 11, and David Caldwell, 48, the defensive tackle, stop him on an 8-yard pickup.
They've done just about everything now. The only thing that was missing was a reverse, maybe an option pass. They get Dean going the wrong way, 97. Caldwell does a nice job fighting off the block and helping out at the corner. Caldwell was the key to that play, I think, being able to hold his ground, hold off the block. They still gained 8 yards, though.
We talked about the blocking on the right side. On the left side, led by Lewis Cheek. Not too shabby on that last play. As Bernstein catches another pass for a first down with plenty to spare. Greg Moore, 44, the defensive end, dropping off to cover that tight end, and that play picks up 12.
Well, the defense was there on that play. It was the strength of Murray's arm. Career pass receiving. You see Bernstein leading over Jeff Nelson and Shea Walker. What a year Bernstein's had. He could attribute a lot of that to Murray, and as I said earlier on that play, the strength of Murray's arm. It's important. Tight ends usually pretty well covered.
So Bernstein is now the record holder, and Murray trying to put some numbers on his statistical sheet. Misses Woodside downfield. Woodside had a step on 2 defensive backs, Billy Jones, number 1, and John Booty, number 11.
Shows you how dangerous they are. They can send a back with 4.4 speed down the sideline. He's going to get plenty of time. TCU has not blitzed, and it's not a good idea to blitz this guy. That was the first pass he's missed all day. He will read the blitz. His backs are excellent. His tight end is excellent, running those short cutoff routes against the blitz. So what you got to do is cover people, and maybe TCU doesn't have enough. Their frogs aren't quick enough maybe to cover these guys.
Kevin Murray, a very strong arm, a former baseball player of the Milwaukee Brewer organization. And on 2nd and 10, he swings it out into the right flat to Valentine and flares it out there. Valentine getting out across the 45, down to about the 44, and they pick up 13 on that one.
Just biting off yardage. Watch the offensive linemen. They're the key. Watch how the center, you miss it there, but they all took off immediately. It was a perfect read for a quick screen. Frogs didn't get there. And Valentine, he fell down himself. He wasn't even tackled.
First down on the 44. Vic and Woodside of the running back. And the pitch to the deep back. And this is Woodside eluding one tackle, but then Booty comes up there to knock him off his feet on the 46. Booty is a junior from Carthage, Texas. Was not recruited, but this guy's a pretty good football player. He has 4.4 speed, has a 36-inch vertical jump. You kind of like that with those defensive backs, don't you, Kevin?
Yeah, vertical jump is important. I'll talk about that later in the game, how Texas A&M works on the vertical jump. Jim's sitting there watching the game, standing there. He'd like to see a vertical jump of about 50 yards into the end zone from one of his frogs. Frogs should be able to jump, I don't know.
Well, you mentioned that earlier. Second down, 11. And an inside handoff comes to Vic, and Vic is down to about the 38, almost the 37, and Ron Lewis, 81, the defensive end, makes the hit on him, so they run a little draw inside. 9-yard pickup on that play. And A&M is averaging, we have a flag on the last one, and we have a holding penalty indicated, or personal foul, whatever, illegal use of the hands, if you will. We'll get the instruction in a moment from Doyle Jackson, who's the referee, and he's assisted today by Bill Voss, James Wilson, Bobby Brooks, Tim Millis, and Billy Walters, and Jim Evans, and it is a personal foul, a major penalty of 15 yards, moving the ball down to the 22.
It's a late hit on Scott Harris. Personal foul, as you see. This is what they don't need. Excellent play, draw play, sliding in, and here we go down the road. Nobody there. Dean finally slows him down. You're going to see Harris, 39. See him coming in late, and rightfully so, a flag, exactly what the Frogs don't need.
Sylvester Morgan is coming at tight end. Bernstein is out. And it is Valentine banging down to about the 15. And Kevin Dean, number 97, who leads TCU in tackles, brings him down. But again, a 7-yard pickup. And the Aggies are averaging more than 7 yards per play.
And the offensive line doing a great job just clearing people out. Watch the white shirts get blown out here. Valentine, he's looking for somebody to run into. There isn't anybody. That right side just pushing him out. He gets nicked a little bit and goes for another 4 yards.
Second down short at the 15. And Murray looks to the 5 and hits Walker, number 85, who's out of bounds quickly. Shea Walker, the third all-time leading receiver in A&M history. He's from Port Arthur, Jefferson.
Yeah, and they like this guy. He's like a coach on the field. They say very smart. He knows the game. Watch him keep those feet in. Not one, but two. He had them both down. And now the pattern and the strength of Murray's arm. This is not bad coverage. Defensive back closing, ball right on the numbers.
Port Arthur Jefferson has contributed a lot of fine quarterbacks and wide receivers to the collegiate ranks. Vick right up the middle, flag down, Vick into the end zone. If the play stands, it'll be the third touchdown of the quarter for Texas A&M, but the flag was thrown back at about the 7, the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I think it was the right side of the line was offsides for A&M. They all took off.
And the penalty will be against the Aggies.
And they cleaned some people out, too. They jumped the count. And actually, you know, defensively, you shouldn't, offsides by the offense shouldn't be to their advantage because you shouldn't be watching the ball to listen to the count. You should be going on their movement.
So a motion penalty is logged against Texas A&M.
Now this drive has had two problems. Now, they were thrown for a loss on one play. They had a second and about 11, which they overcame with a draw play, and now they have a penalty here. And TCU has an opportunity maybe to hold them to a field goal. Let's see what happens.
Harris splits out wide to the right side, and Walker is out there with him. Now Harris comes back in motion. Murray looks that way. Look at the time he's got, though. Now he finds somebody and hits Walker in the back of the end zone. Shea Walker was lined up wide right and ran laterally all the way across the end zone. Got himself open. And Kevin, what else can you say? They're doing it perfectly.
Well, I don't think, yes, Merle, they are. I don't think that TCU realizes how strong an arm Walker has. Murray, excuse me, Walker, he was just kind of running along the back of the end zone. He had two guys trailing him. As you see, the extra point is good. It's 21-0. Texas A&M, but Murray has all day, which we expected. We didn't expect much of a rush. And there's a couple of guys to his left. You'll see him turn back to his left. There's a couple of guys open, but watch how strong an arm he has. Wham! Right inside. You see inside more, and then the two guys trailing. Here, you'll see it again. When he gets ready to throw the ball, you better close on that receiver because the ball's going to get there in a hurry. Here's the gun right here. Low where it needs to be. Walker's got the touchdown. That's 3, and we're not through the first quarter yet.
3 touchdowns in the quarter, 3 touchdown catches this year for Walker, and for Kevin Murray, his 15th touchdown strike in the air this season. So it's 21-0 A&M. A crowd of 55,000 plus. And Jim Wacker and his Horned Frogs have a long way to go, and they're down by 21.
There's a 9-play drive, and they did not have a third down situation on that drive. That's offensive efficiency for you.
Now Scott Slater tees it up. Going back deep, Tony Brooks and Reggie Davis for TCU. The Aggies going for their 8th win of the year against 2 losses. They're 6th in conference play. Brooks, back of the end zone, will touch it down, and the ball will come out to the 20. Well, this last drive, 77 yards. The 2 previous drives, 63 and 70.
So, if possible, Merle, they getting more efficient. This was less than 3 minutes, and they have done everything well. A&M, their offensive line is dominating. Their backs are too much for the secondary and the linebackers of the Frogs so far, and they just have not made a mistake, and TCU has not made a first down in 3 possessions.
David Rasko, the sophomore from Westchester High, and Houston goes down inside the 20. Todd Howard, 73. Rod Sadler, 99. Right there. And the Frog.
Okay, the hurting Frog there.
Yeah. Hang in there.
They had to suit, that's a big Frog. They had to suit him up.
One more year of eligibility. Second down, 10. Rasko options to Darthard. And Darthard at the 25, and I believe that's the longest gain so far for TCU. Kip Coring to number 10, the free safety on the tackle.
Well, one of the reasons that Rasko is playing and Giles needs a little more work is the option play. Because Rasko, Darthard almost drops that ball. Rasko seems to run it a little bit better. Giles, being injured, hasn't had the experience, and that's as close as they've come to a big play all day.
Keith Burnett splits out wide to the left side for TCU. And Rasko keeps the ball. As he makes his cut, he slips, and Kip Coring to number 10, the free safety from College Station, right there to cover him, and it's fourth down coming up for TCU, and we have a minute 19 to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, Rasko didn't have a chance on that play. Corrington was out there. He's going to get him whether he slipped or not. I don't know what Jim could tell him.
So back to do the punting, Chris Becker, who got a boomer off his last time, and going back deep is Rod Harris. And look at this one hang up there. Beautiful punt. Harris takes it at his 28. And Harris gets out across the 40, is dropped at the 41. Now let's look at the Cotton Bowl possibilities.
Texas A&M will go if, and you better listen to this, they beat TCU and Texas. They're well on their way against the Frogs. If they win on Thanksgiving against Texas, they have no problem. Or if the Aggies and Baylor tie because Texas A&M has beaten Baylor. Baylor will go if Baylor beats Texas. That game is today, and A&M loses both games, which looks doubtful now. Or if Baylor and Arkansas tie. And Arkansas will go if the Razorbacks beat SMU today. The Aggies lose one game, and Baylor loses to Texas.
Another strike. This one goes to Rod Harris from Kevin Murray, and he's across the midfield stripe at the 47. Let's go to Arkansas now.
Okay, Arkansas and A&M and Baylor tie. Arkansas will go because they haven't been in the longest time. And Texas will go if the Longhorns could beat Baylor today, and Texas A&M and Arkansas loses to SMU. They have to beat Texas A&M. Arkansas needs to lose today to SMU if Texas is to go.
Well, I know that is all official and correct, but can you repeat that for me without looking at it now?
I'll get that, no problem.
Gain of 11 on the last play. First down to the 47-yard line as Murray wants to go upstairs again. And he whips it right over the middle, and that's Rod Harris, who caught the last pass, and he gets 7 on that one, and Tony Brooks, the left cornerback, number 15, covers on the play.
Well, they went with 5 receivers, which, of course, if you can only rush 3 men, it's a good idea to do this. Now, Dean makes the first mistake Dean makes is he lets Harris cross in front of him, and then he doesn't catch up to him. Don't let him hook up in front of you. If he crosses in front of you, you got to get on him, give him a little shove.
We've run out of time in the first quarter, and the Aggies have put 3 touchdowns on the board. One by Vick, one by Woodside, another on a pass to Shea Walker, and it's 21-0. And we'll be back after this message from your local station. This is the Raycom Sports Network.
Before you decide on which German luxury sedan best suits you, just remember, the Audi runs in only the best of circles. If you want performance and handling in a German luxury sedan, you're ready for an Audi.
And your Houston Metro Audi dealers are ready for you. Neil Young,
Leonard Skinner,
Dan Morrison,
Allman Brothers,
Blind Faith,
Cat Stevens,
Joe Walsh,
The Band,
Buffalo Springfield,
Rod Stewart,
Humble Pie,
Bob Seger,
Mike Bloomfield, Al Cooper,
Yes,
John Lennon,
Booty Blues,
Creedence Clearwater Revival,
Eric Clapton,
Rolling Stone,
Joe Cocker.
classic rock and roll of the 60s, 70s, and 80s in laser stereo. KZFX, the new Z107.
Texas A&M 21 and TCU nothing. Merle Herman and Kevin Kiley with you as we open the second quarter. It's the Aggies ball at the 40-yard line of TCU, and Kevin Murray on a slant hit Harris. Hit him on the left shoulder, a little bit behind him, but the ball was catchable. Just simply bounced away, and I think Harris wanted to speed it up and play the road to the roadrunner there and try to bust for a touchdown. Talking about what A&M is average per play.
Well, it doesn't hurt if you can average 7.5 total offense. They had 218 yards in the first quarter, and that's roughly 900 yards a game if they were to keep that thing going.
And Billy Jones, a free safety from Baytown, is the injured player for TCU, and we have a timeout. And A&M leads 21-0.
Looking out for number one. Looking out for number one.
Toyota, looking out for you with the Toyota 4x4 Turbo. The only gas turbo. The turbo tough enough to take you where you want to go.
Looking out for number one.
Looking out for you has made Toyota #1 in compact truck sales and #1 in truck satisfaction. Who could ask for anything more?
Toyota!
We're watching the end of an era. Recent government changes in Medicare, Social Security, even student loans tell us we should no longer take those benefits for granted. So more and more people are turning to Jefferson Pilot companies for insurance and financial services. We've been helping people like you deal successfully with change for more than 80 years. Not just to protect your life, but your way of life.
Billy Jones being helped off the field. We hope that is not a serious injury and that he will be able to return. The Aggies have a 3rd down and 3 coming up. They had 218 yards total offense in the first quarter. TCU had 10.
Jones has had a problem throughout his career with nagging injuries. Let's hope that's a nagging injury and not a serious injury.
3rd down for the Aggies. Murray pitched to the deep back, and Vic hurdles the runner. Look at the power of this man for the first down. At the 34-yard line, Tracy Simeon, 56, on the tackle, a gain of 6. Texas A&M marching band, one of the most recognizable and one of the most honored in the United States. They strike up, and for good reason. The Aggies are ahead 21-0. We're in the second quarter. Over the ball. Here comes the pitch to the trailing back, and that is Woodside, the tailback, and Woodside is at the 30 and out of bounds. Chased out by Tracy Simeon, 56, Ron Lewis, 81. They get a gain of 4 yards on the play as they work on Billy Jones over on the sideline.
Frogs are having a problem tackling. They're just not wrapping it up. They're getting over there, a lot of them, but they're not able to make the tackles. Part of that is due to the back, but 3-4 guys on the same play should not miss a tackle.
Texas A&M has its number 2 offensive line in there right now. Pick the fullback in the eye. Murray with time to throw, and it's incomplete to Mickey Washington, number 37, off his fingertips of the end zone. John Booty, number 11, had the coverage on the play.
This ball maybe should have been caught. Now remember, you're not getting much of a rush, so you can go with your second-team offensive line. They're doing just fine. Murray has plenty of time. Now Washington has a shot at this ball. He needs to just lay out and go for it with both hands. He had the defender beat.
Well, you know, you watch the Aggie fans, and you start getting a little dizzy up here when they start moving. Here's Murray, and Murray, the running back, Woodside, the tailback, at the 23, and Keith just couldn't handle a football. So The Aggies have, I believe, their first fourth down of the day.
Look, he caught 12 last week against Arkansas, one short of the team record. He might have used it all up here. Now, Murray's tremendously accurate. I can't believe how accurate he is. Look at that thing. Right exactly where it should be. He can't hold it.
Walker, this will be a 46-yard attempt as he attempts to tie a record. And he has kicked the field goal. 18 field goals to tie an A&M record for the most in one season. Alan Smith had 18 back in 1983. It is now 24-0 Texas A&M.
I remember my father's favorite chair. He'd come home, stretch out, and nap through all his favorite TV shows. That chair was home to him. When you take a seat on a Delta jet, I want you to feel like you're coming home. Sounds corny, I know, but I love what I do. And I don't get paid extra to smile. It just feels comfortable to me. Kind of like my father's chair.
Delta gets you there. We get you there with care.
So you think you're a cowboy?
Willie Nelson, a legend in jeans. And those jeans got to be Wrangler Cowboy Cut. Designed by cowboys, they're the only official jeans of the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association. Wrangler Cowboy Cut jeans.
Hey, everybody knows real cowboys wear Wrangler.
The Aggies lead at 24-0 with 13 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the first half on our Raycom Southwest Conference Game of the Week. Delighted to have you with us this afternoon. Scott Slater and the 12th man are on the field for the kickoff. Scott Slater just booted his 18th field goal of the year. He kicked his first field goal in the Cotton Bowl on January 1st. A little pressure job.
Here's something for the Frogs to shoot for here now. Nobody really runs them back against this 12th man. Should be good something maybe to get a long run back.
A line drive shot down the middle of the field. It's taken by Reggie Davis, and here comes Davis trying to get to the outside, and he is jolted out of bounds by Ashley Eddington, who made the last tackle for the 12th man. Now let's go to the Apple scoreboard to see what's going on today. Arkansas at SMU.
Well, all of these are important, Burl. Arkansas needs to win that one to stay alive. Texas and Baylor both need to win. Houston, Texas Tech can go to a bowl game if they win that game. And Air Force going up against Rice, who has given people some scares this year.
And we'll be seeing Rice in Houston next week. Bill Yeoman's final game as the head coach of the Houston Cougars. First down, 32-yard line. Rasco hands off to Bobby Davis, and Davis gets out to the 38 where Johnny Holland, number 11, the senior from Hempstead, hits him, brings him down, gain of 6. Larry Kelm, number 65, also there in the tackle. If there are two better inside linebackers in the country, I wish somebody would point them out to me.
I don't know, Merle. I don't know if there are. This is an important game and really an important time of the year for TCU. They need to begin building for next year. They've got to get some good performances.
Davis on the dive, doesn't go anywhere. Guy Broom, 93. Rod Sadler, 99. The nose guard and defensive end bring him down, give him a gain of a yard. Guy Broom is the junior out of Galveston, 6'6", 275 pounds.
That's a big broom there.
Do a lot of sweeping, huh?
That's right.
Rasco throws, ball deflected, knocked down by Todd Howard, the senior from Bryan, number 73.
Reggie Davis had a big week 2 weeks ago, and I'll tell you what, it might have been the worst thing ever happened to him. He draws a lot of attention. They hold him up on the line. Rasco had gone the other way. He never looked back to see where Davis was, but you can bet Reggie will let him know that he was clear on that play.
Chris Becker gets that ball away on a high snap. It goes end over end. It is fielded on the 20 by Rod Harris, and Harris moves out to about the 34. Darrell Davis, number 34, makes the tackle, a 41-yard kick and a 6-yard return. Proud Dad. 1 out of every 2 Texas public school students will meet rigorous scholastic requirements in order to voluntarily compete in a university interscholastic league event. Support these outstanding young men and women in your community. They are the Texas leaders of tomorrow. First down, Murray. Fires, completes to Shea Walker. Walker in TCU territory at the 39. John Booty, the right quarterback, number 11 from Carthage, Texas, makes the. And Kevin Murray is having a field day, and he gets 27 on that one.
Well, I'll tell you, they either got to rush this guy or they got to. This is a 25-yard pass on a string by Murray to a wide open Shea Walker. Right there, you see him, and then it's just let me see if I can get some more yardage, and he does. Now, the Frogs got to make a decision here, down 24-0. They're either going to rush this guy or they're going to cover better. They've tried to cover, they haven't gotten it done. They need to rush.
38-yard line as Murray, with time, throws to the near side. Open man, but overthrew Walker, a little bit too high for him. Romeo Smith, number 43, out of Houston, there on the coverage. Kevin Murray, boy, you talk about his record. And remember, he's only a junior. He has the Southwest Conference career touchdown pass record with 46 now, with one today. He needed 11 completions to become the 4th Southwest Conference passer to hit 500 career completions, and he's well on the way to accomplishing that today. We've got more that we'll pass along to you as the day goes on with Kevin Murray. 2nd and 10. Time to throw. Nice catch by Rod Harris. And a first down at the 27-yard line of TCU, and Romeo Smith makes the hit, a gain of 11.
It's that three-man rush again. It's just not getting it done. Murray gives Lewis a little problem here. Watch 81, how he fakes Lewis right off his feet, and bang, on the run. Nice catch by Harris. Not a bad pass, though.
Jackie Sherrill has his number 1 offensive unit in there again, the offensive line. He had played the second team in the last series. It's a first down for the Aggies, who lead 24-0. Harris goes in motion to the left side. Murray fires away and completes this one. It's going to be an easy touchdown. Oh, not an easy touchdown for Walker. He is pulled down by John Booty, a half-yard short on a 20-yard run, a pass and run, and it looked like he was a cinch, but Booty wouldn't give up.
Booty was recruited by Texas A&M, and you're right, he was beaten on this, and he doesn't give up. It's another great pass and reception by Walker. But watch number 11. One guy, you're right, he's walking into the end zone here. Look at Booty, 4.4 speed. And that's something that's taught at practice and something to be admired. Here's a team down 24-0. He could have let him walk in, but he didn't.
Now it's 1st and goal, and Vick will take it in. Roger Vick getting his 2nd touchdown of the day, his 8th on the ground this year, and the Aggies now lead it 30-0.
They have yet to be stopped. They've scored on every possession. 4 touchdowns and a field goal.
Slater will go for the extra point. Shea Walker will hold it for him. Slater has missed only 1 extra point try this year, and I believe it's right through there, 31-0. Texas A&M and the band strikes up again.
Well, they've done it all, and they've really done it on the wings of Kevin Murray here, if you will. The great arm, lots of great protection. Caldwell, no chance to get in there. And again, it's Walker in the chair. Here comes Booty with a nice play, and after this, it's academic. You know they're going to go up on. And here they come. They haven't stopped them all day. They won't stop them on this play. Roger Vick, up and over. Not a bad effort by Booty again, as you see. Number 11, trying to get his head in there, but it's a touchdown. Yet another one. That's 4 for A&M.
So the Aggies are really rolling with 10 minutes, 49 seconds to go in the half. They've got a 31-0 lead over TCU.
being a Jefferson Standard agent does have its drawbacks.
George, tell me about universal life.
Fortunately, there's nothing we like more than helping you plan for the future.
Would you recommend stocks or mutual funds?
With insurance and a wide range of financial services.
Hey, George, you got a minute to talk about IRAs?
So when you have a question about your future, ask one of our agents about financial services from Jefferson Standard.
Hey, George!
Our business is your future.
Looking out for number one. Looking out for number one.
Toyota, looking out for you with a powerful Toyota SR5 Extra Cab. Style to make it look good on the outside, comfort to make you feel good on the inside.
Looking out for number one.
Looking out for you has made Toyota #1 in compact truck sales and #1 in truck satisfaction. Who could ask for anything more?
Toyota.
31-0. Texas A&M. Slater will kick off for the Aggies. This one well back into the end zone and out of the end zone. It'll come to the 20, where it will be 1st and 10 for TCU. Now let's look at scores over the ball game. How about this?
Ooh, Michigan coming off that upset from Minnesota, getting beaten in their own park. Ohio State's got them on the run now by 8. Wisconsin, Michigan State close in the second quarter. Another Big Ten game. Kansas and Missouri. Missouri on top of the Jayhawks by 10. And Penn State and Pittsburgh. I kind of thought that one would be close. It's still a little early to tell.
Rasco dropping and now running and is tripped and tries to cut and get a little extra yardage and goes down after a gain of about 3. Howard there to cover him. More scores now.
South Carolina and Clemson, that's always a battle. They'll be I'm surprised we can't hear that crowd from here. And North Carolina Duke, surprise over North Carolina early in the first quarter.
Boy, that could knock North Carolina out of a bowl possibility.
Duke had a pretty good team this year. They have some losses. They usually don't have any depth.
2nd down and 6. And Bobby Davis has trouble with the turf. We had rain here this morning. It was a beautiful day yesterday. We had lots of fog and mist. And some of the guys are having a little trouble when they make their cuts. It'll be 3rd down 4 coming up.
But they're not real happy with this surface. In fact, they're going to replace it next year. They're going to put the surface that they have in the weight room, which is also an artificial turf surface, out here.
Incomplete. It was intended for Gary Ford, the tight end. The coverage by Terrence Brooks, number 27, the strong cornerback. And so the defense of Texas A&M stops TCU again.
This is not a great play by Rasco. He'll lose his footing here, see? But Ford was open. We need to set himself and throw that thing. Ford catches that. He goes for 15 yards. Rasco just threw it in the ground.
Bad snap. And Becker is going to go back and take the safety rather than possibly have a kick blocked for a touchdown or give Texas A&M possession down inside the 5-yard line. So Becker takes the safety, and now 2 more points go on the board for the Aggies, who lead 0-0, and the Horned Frogs will have a free kick.
Becker could have kicked this ball. He got a good bounce. It's a bad snap. He got a good bounce right back to him. Had he turned around, he would have really had time to kick that thing, and he never did. He just kept going. You're going to see it here. No question about the snap. Watch the bounce. Comes right back to him. He never turns around. And the A&M players are good 10 yards behind him. He could have stopped, turned around and kicked it. At least he would have had time. Of course, he doesn't know that, though, but just for Jim Wacker to think about. You'll be watching these films on Monday. Jim's going to take these and burn them.
You know, I remember a remark by Jackie Sherrill in his first year when he was starting a rebuilding program, and the Aggies were taking a pounding as TCU is today, 294 yards against 23 in the first half. And I recall one game after the Aggies had lost, seems to me it was something like 50-0, and he said, "Boys, get your licks in now because we're going to be awesome."
Yeah.
He really had that kind of confidence. And Jim Wacker, I know, is thinking about next year. He's got 5 seniors redshirted that he'll bring back, led by Kent Trammell. He's going to have 15 seniors maybe for the first time in his career at TCU, but he's going through it just like Jackie Sherrill did. Of course, this is the second time around for Jim Wacker. He had to go through his first year at TCU with hardly a win in the book at all, and then the second year turned it around, went 8-3, and then of course we know what happened last year, so he's starting over again this season.
I got to believe that he wants his team to play better than this, though. Even with all the things we talked about and the injuries, he needs a little bit of a better effort than this.
And the free kick punted and taken by Harris, and Harris drops the ball and picks it up, and he slips and goes down as he tries to cut at the 38-yard line.
Turf, artificial turf, a lot of people feel that the reason they changed is so that the elements wouldn't, well, the reason they did change is so the elements really wouldn't affect artificial turf as much as the natural surface, but believe it or not, the slightest moisture can really make it treacherous out there.
Offside against TCU, and A&M will turn that down and take the ball.
Another thing about artificial turf is when it's hot, the field is so hot, it comes right through your shoes, and that doesn't really happen with a natural surface. I always preferred a natural surface to play on, and I know a lot of players do. The artificial surface is really not for players as much as it's for maintenance and the fans. If you have a quick team, it'll make you very fast, too.
Craig Stump is now the quarterback. Tony Thompson is in. He is split out wide outside. Here comes Stump, and he is run out of bounds at the 41. Melvin Collins also in there now for TCU. They're making lots of switches. 3-yard pickup on the play. Craig Stump from Port Arthur High, or rather Jefferson High in Port Arthur, handles the punting chore most of the time for Texas A&M. He was a starting quarterback when Murray came on the scene, and then when Murray went out with an injury his first year, Stump took over and was the quarterback for the Aggies. Aggies go to the run. That's James House, the number 2 tailback, and he is down to the 47 where Andy Pitts, 49, the weak side linebacker, makes the tackle, but 11 yards on that play for James House from Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Well, some people feel that Stump may be the best backup quarterback in the league. He hands off pretty well. Look how well it works. His House, with a huge hole, goes through. This is important for TCU to play well against his second offense. Now, one thing about A&M's great first team, but they need to make some kind of stand against the second team. Confidence is important here.
And we have a whistle stopping play. We have a flag drop. We had a procedure call against Texas A&M. I looked at the clock, the play clock, but there was plenty of time left on that. So a procedure penalty.
What's the center? There it is. You only get to snap the ball once on any given play. If he continued to snap, there's no penalty because he's the first one to move. But when he stopped and reset, that becomes procedure.
Melvin Collins now in the backfield. A Stump throws incomplete. That was Tony Thompson, number 80, out of Lamar High School in Houston, who was the target. Texas A&M leading it 33-0. We have 8 minutes and 49 seconds left to go in the first half. And the sun is doing its best to break through the overcast here.
The timing is going to be important now for the second team, and this is a good chance for TCU to take some chances defensively because those passes are going to be off. Patterns won't be as crisp.
Number 2 backfield in there for the Aggies. Stump with some time, throws, completes to Walker, and he is short of a first down at the 39-yard line of TCU, covered by Tony Brooks, number 15, the left cornerback. They get 13 yards on the play.
This is a nice job by Stump. It's a good pattern by Walker, but the coverage isn't really bad. Stump carries the ball real well, sets up solid, and delivers it. That's pretty good coverage there by Brooks.
Stump and Walker were high school teammates at Port Arthur Jefferson. Stump on the pitch. Collins out of bounds near the 33, and that'll be a first down for the Aggies. 6 yards on the play.
TCU's defense has already played an entire game. They've been on the field most of the first half.
Look at this race that's going on. Walker and Bernstein have been like head and head for pass receptions, and now Walker has replaced Bernstein, who is on the sideline at the present time.
Screaming to come in.
Yes.
Let me go in.
Matt Gurley is now the fullback for the Aggies. And House is in motion. Stump hit behind the line. So that loss will take the ball back to the 40. And Frank Hawkins, 99, who's really played rather well this year for TCU, gets the tackle for a loss of 7. And Hawkins trying to fire that defense up.
Well, this defense has been decimated, as has TCU's offense, but they keep coming. Caldwell, here you see Moore. And there's Hawkins coming from the right side on Stump. Good effort by TCU. They need to keep playing. Play hard, keep your head up. Next year might be your year or the year after.
Bernstein is back in. He is split wide to the left side. A&M stays on the ground at 35 with Melvin Collins, a freshman from Temple, gaining 4 and being brought down by Ron Lewis, number 81, the defensive end, and Fred Washington, who's now playing a defensive tackle. He's number 47.
Another thing that's important here, Merle, is it's a short week. Thanksgiving coming up, and A&M doesn't know whether they need to beat Texas yet, but you know they'd love to beat Texas. And for their starters to not have to play a full game today could really help them, not be banged up, not be overly tired for the short week.
Jackie Sherrill in his 5th year with the Aggies has Stump throwing to Bernstein, incomplete. Bernstein covered by Tony Brooks, number 15, the left cornerback.
He looked like he slowed down on that pattern a little bit. He was about halfway through it, slowed down. Stump misjudged it, overthrew it. It might have been Bernstein's fault, though.
The Aggies, with a 7-2 mark, have beaten Texas Tech, Houston, Baylor, Rice, and SMU, North Texas State, Southern Mississippi. Lost to LSU the first game of the season over at Baton Rouge, and then lost to Arkansas last week. Of course, the Aggies and the Longhorns Thursday night from Memorial Stadium in Austin. 4th down. 4th down and 12, and Stump pitches back to his tailback, and Gurley gets 5, and the Aggies turn the ball over.
Well, there's the first time that the Frogs have been able to stop them here with 7 minutes approximately, 6:45 left in the half. That is the first time that A&M did not score. They had their second unit in, and it's a good effort by TCU, and they need to build on that.
So the Aggie defense comes onto the field. Jim Wacker sends his offense out with a big deficit, 33-0. Jared Delaney is split wide to the right side now for TCU. Rasco, Tatum, no place. Rod Sadler, 99, the defensive end from Atlanta, Georgia. Throws him for a 2-yard loss. Terry Price, 88, is now in there.
Tatum had trouble getting started. That play was slow developing, and when Tatum started to go, it was almost like a car spinning out. It looked like his feet started to slip when he tried to run.
Jeff Daly is up over the ball for the Frogs. With his 2nd and 11. 30-yard line of TCU. Rasco options and is jolted out of bounds in the 35 by Kip Corrington, number 10, the free safety. A gain of 5. Corrington, by the way, is one of 20 finalists for the Jim Thorpe Award. That's the best defensive back in the nation.
Well, they went with a wishbone here, Merle, with 2 wide receivers. And what it did, it helped them get to the corner. They spread the defense out a little bit. And here's Rasco. See, there's nobody at the corner. He's able to pick up a few yards. Formation worked. We'll see that one again. 3rd and about 7.
There is the total yardage right now. TCU at 1. That's incomplete. The man in the pattern was Tony Darthard. Holland had the coverage. 329 yards to 1.
It's not good. You know, a lot of these patterns they're running, the receivers seem to be very close together. I don't know whether they're running the wrong patterns or that's by design. Usually you don't want your receivers close together.
Becker puts it high in the air. It sends Rod Harris back. He takes it to the 17-yard line, trying to come to the near side and pick up a puck for a elusive tackler, and he has one man to beat, but he couldn't. And the man he couldn't beat was the punter, Chris Becker, who just put a shoulder into his hip and knocked him down. A great return by Harris, and it's 33-0 Aggies after a punt and a return of 25 yards. And we'll be back after this word from Budweiser.
To America's best, as they look to Australia and the America's Cup Challenge.
This much for all that you do. You got stuff to come through a long way from home, but you're not alone. With your country's home, it's all staying with you. You make America work, and this fight for you.
Introducing gasolines that unlock the power in your car. New Gulf unleaded gasolines with high-tech Techroline. Power is robbed by intake deposits. Power is unlocked by Techroline. Techroline, so effective for cleaning intake systems, including fuel injectors, that it's the only additive in the gasoline chosen by all 4 U.S. car makers for their critical EPA tests. New Gulf unleaded gasolines with Techroline. Unlock the power.
Merle Herman and Kevin Kiley with you in College Station, Texas. Kevin Murray is back at quarterback now for the Aggies. And throwing on first down, drop. Woodside wide open at midfield. Woodside had caught passes for 511 yards. That's Reveille 5, the mascot of the Aggies.
I met Reveille 4 yesterday.
Oh, you did?
The retired predecessor, yes. And I found out that whoever is assigned to taking care of Reveille has to take him to class. They take him everywhere. What if you had a date or something? Did they take on a date?
It is second down for the Aggies as Murray looks to throw. He throws, completes it to Vick as he gets hit. And Vick gets down to the 47-yard line. It may be a first down, or Valentine rather. And Greg Moore made the tackle on the play.
This is something the pro scouts would love to see. Murray is 6'2", 190 pounds, standing in there. You don't see the beginning of that. Valentine wide open, but Murray was able to stand in there. A man had his hand on him, and he was still able to make that completion, which shows his strength.
Any part of the ball will be a first down. First down.
Give that one to Murray. Here's Murray. Give that first down to Murray. Now here, 6'2", 190 pounds. Watch the concentration. They've got him, right? No. In the grasp? No. And the thing is right on the mark to Valentine. That's something that pro scouts will look for. Strength and concentration from a quarterback. Got them both.
Joe Johnson, who was not expected to play today, was in there on the last tackle, and look what Murray has done now, that last completion. He completes another one, though, to Bernstein to keep it going, and Bernstein is inside the 35 at about the 33, and Joe Johnson, the roverback from Waxahachie, makes the tackle. Gain of 14.
Now, this is a clinic, and I don't know that Murray even cares if the defense is around. He's hot today. He's got the arm. Well, look at those things. Right in the tummy to Bernstein. He's been on the mark, inside the shoulder pads, nothing outside. You know, get outside those receivers, make them jump, stick their arms out. That makes it dangerous for him. Not today. Murray's kept the ball right inside the body.
And now Kevin Murray wants to call a timeout. So the Aggies take the timeout with 5 minutes and 3 seconds left to play in the first half. And Texas A&M with a commanding 33-0 lead. In fact, the Aggies led 21-0 at the end of the first period. Okay, this is what A&M has done on its possessions today.
Look at those drives. I think that's indicative of the type of offense they have. 9, 9, 9. 9 seemed to be the number early. 9 plays, and they went in. You can see all of them around 60 or 70 yards. Only 7 plays, but they got a field goal. 2 more plays, they'd had a touchdown. 5 plays for a touchdown, and then that was the second team that turned it over on downs. Of course, TCU, they had their problems. 3 plays and out.
So the Aggies have the ball at the 33-yard line of TCU. This is the Frogs' final game of the year. The Aggies have 1 to go and a bowl date coming up. And they, of course, hope it's going to be in Dallas. But there are other possibilities, but they're not thinking anything but Cotton Bowl right now. Vick back ends the fullback. Bernstein in motion to the right side. Murray completes to Bernstein. Bernstein right at the first down marker, knocked out of bounds by Romeo Smith, number 43, the sophomore from Houston.
Jerry Fontenot, just a sophomore. Watch him, 67. Look at the technique. He's got the hands out there, great balance. He's able to go either way. Now, kids, that's the way to do it offensively. These guys, not only are they big and strong, they have great technique. You have to keep your balance, both defensively and offensively. And for an offensive lineman to overextend himself, well, the defense will take immediate advantage of that. Texas A&M, they don't do that.
Ball at the 23. Jim Wacker is really in it. He's trying to rally his charges and also help the officiating out a little bit.
Now, one thing you don't want is complacency, and I think Jim, more than anything else, he wants to show his players that every play of every game is important, and he's that type of guy anyway. I mean, the score could be 90-0, and I know he'd care about every single play, and if the rules were called right, and whether it was procedure or not procedure. He's just that type of guy, very enthusiastic and into the game.
Appears to be an inch or so short of a first down. We've had no signal yet.
What he's saying is that what he just said was you can't have a man in motion and other ones jumping. You can only have one guy in motion at a time. Canadian football, everybody kind of runs around in the backfield. In American football, only one player can be moving. Evidently, A&M had another player moving.
Second down and an inch. Woodside knocked off his feet as he dives down about the 22, and that should be a first down. Romeo Smith, number 43, the Roverback, makes the tackle as the Aggies continue to roll up first downs. What do they got? 21 first downs in this half. Lee Friday, our statistician, really has his work cut out for him today.
These games they're tough for both coaches. This game right now is just as tough on the A&M coaching staff as it is on TCU's coaching staff.
Harris split out to the left side, Walker to the right, and Murray swings it to Valentine, and he gets a pretty good shot from Mike Hebert, number 89, a sophomore from Pasadena.
That's the play we saw early in the first quarter. It's a quick screen. I don't know that this wasn't a lateral. It's very, very close. Okay, Walker, he's going out. He's clearly going to block. He's not running a pattern. You see these guys coming out to block. That was supposed to be a screen play. That's what happens downfield. That thing was very close to being a lateral.
Wideouts to each side for the Aggies on 2nd and 10. The ball at the 22. Matt Wilson over the ball. Vick comes up the middle. Look at the power of this big man inside the 15 to the 14, trying to get to the 13. Buddy Wyatt, number 60, the defensive end, gets him to the ground, but not until Vick picked up 8 yards, and he came into this game with 689 on the ground. And look what he has done, 100 yards plus in 5 different games this season.
These guys are great back, and they have so much talent on this team. As I said earlier, these guys get lost, but he will get lost in pro football.
Third down 1. Vick going for the first down, just plows his way ahead, down to the 6. It'll be first and goal. Greg Moore, 44, makes the tackle, a gain of 8.
This is a showcase for Roger Vick. Tremendous balance, and watch him lean now like the great backs do. He comes in, he's leaning, he's able to step over. They do drills for all of that. You jump over dummies and they have you run and make sure you get your knees up and keep your balance. And this is where it pays off in the game when the dummies turn into defensive players. You need to get over them and keep that head down and drive for the extra yardage.
Walker goes wide to the left side. Mickey Washington to the right side. Vick is the lone setback. Murray wheels it to the end zone. Walker dropped it on the back line of the end zone. Shea Walker almost had his second touchdown pass of the day.
Great protection for Murray again. Lots of people open on this thing. Harris gets loose 17 there. Now watch the gun into the middle. Defense falls down. You won't see him drop too many of those. He's got real good hands. Again, the velocity of Murray's passes makes him tough. Boy, that thing comes at you quick.
It is second down and goal. Roger Vick hurdles one tackler, but is drilled to the ground at the 5. John Dull, 51, the strong linebacker. Tracy Simeon, 56, one of the defensive tackles, and a gain of 1.
Hey, Dull's just a freshman out of high school. Number 51, he'll lead the charge. Look at all the frogs. They're still coming, still playing hard. And of course, Wacker demands that of them. 4 players in on that tackle. John Dull, high school freshman. A year ago, he was in high school. Now he's out here playing for the Horned Frogs. A couple of years from now, he'll be glad he is.
He's really had a solid year, too, for TCU.
Been a tough year for them as you look at a player down. A real tough year in that the injuries, the red shirts, the probation. Hard to keep your concentration, continuity. They've had no continuity at all. I believe they, again, this is not a great effort today. They should be able to play better than this maybe, but with all the things going on, you never can tell how it's going to affect the football team.
Mike Hebert still on the ground getting medical attention. We have 3 minutes and 14 seconds left to go in the first half. 33-0 A&M. TCU 3-7 for the year and 1-6 in conference play. And Jackie Sherrill's Aggies have, as we have mentioned, 7-2 for the year, 5-1 in conference play. Jackie in his 5th year. So is Jim Wacker in his 4th year, actually. Mike Hebert walking off the field under his own power. It'll be 3rd down goal to go on the 5-yard line. The Aggies lead it 33-0. As we go back to play, Vick is the fullback. Touchdown to Bernstein. Rod Bernstein puts 6 on the board. With it, that touchdown strike, his 5th reception for a TD this year.
I wonder if Murray knows about this race for receptions. He's just kind of dishing them out.
Now the extra point try by Scott Slater. Walker do the holding. And the Aggies had one more. 3 minutes, 5 seconds to go in the first half. And the Aggies lead 40-0.
That's another example of a great pass. Booty's got good coverage on Bernstein. You don't really see it from there, but Booty's the one who falls down on him. This coverage is excellent. From here, we'll see it. From behind the offense, again, the strength of Murray's arm and the accuracy. Booty's right there. Bernstein makes a nice catch for a touchdown. Yet another TD for A&M.
So the Aggies are marching long and successfully today. That's a 57-yard march for another 7 points. Jackie Sherrill has used his second units today, and they seem to be just as effective as the number 1 unit.
Yeah, this is a case of a team that established national power going against a team that's had more than their share of bad breaks and is not having a particularly good day on top of that.
Kicking off, it will be number 3, Scott.
40-0 late in the second quarter. I know these guys, this 12th man's going to get exhausted here, running up and down the field. They've been playing as much as anybody today.
The 12th man, of course, has been a tradition here for many years, but this is sort of a new spin-off of the 12th man. The core standing for the game. Well, now the 12th man is on the field also. And the kickoff by Slater is not giving the 12th man much of an opportunity to do anything today. So it'll be first down for TCU. The ball will come to the Frog 20. Better than 55,000 looking on at Kyle Field today. It's turned out to be a very nice day after a drizzly, foggy morning. Ron Giles has come in to play quarterback now for TCU. He's a freshman from Madison High School in Houston. Very strong arm. Keeps the ball. 10, 15, 20, 25, 26. Terrence Brooks, 27, the strong linebacker, brings him down.
Key to this thing is quickness. Now, the reason Giles was not in the game is that he had a little problem running the option. Not a whole lot of experience. Doesn't look too bad here. It looks like a running back coming in. Tuck that thing away, Ron. Tuck it away. Watch him put his head down right at the end of this thing. That's a quarterback, folks. This guy's a good throwing quarterback, too. 5'11", 190 pounds out of Houston.
That's the longest successful play of the day for TCU. Doesn't go any place. Stopped in the 45. Johnny Holland, number 11, makes the tackle. That's Billy Jones, who is being carted from the field. Billy was hurt earlier, and you see the heavy pack on the right leg.
Boy, they've had some injuries on this team, and now Billy adds to the list. He'll have an entire winter to get better. And when this team does heal up and they get some of their people back, they're going to be a good team.
We understand that Billy has a contusion of the knee. This is his final college game and a tough way to go out of it. Ron Giles at quarterback, 2nd down and 10. Giles fires, wide open man is Burnett. And Burnett has the first down. Burnett all the way down to, they're going to mark it on the 36, where Kip Corrington chases him out of bounds. So Ron Giles is moving the Frogs.
It's a nice job by Giles, throwing the ball across the field. Wide open is Burnett. Good strong arm. Reminds me a little bit of Murray. Right on the numbers. And down the field for a first down. That's 2 for, I don't know if they had a first down earlier than his drive. Isn't that the first 2 they've had?
He had 19 yards, and yeah, that's right. Giles options, and finally the ball is taken by Higgs. Looked like Higgs and Giles were tugging for that ball, but they get 1 yard on the play, and Higgs is brought down by Todd Howard, number 73.
Well, that's the problem I referred to about Giles and running the option. They had some problems last week with him in there because he hadn't gotten enough reps in practice. He'd been injured, and he has a little trouble with the exchange. That's what happened with Higgs on that play.
Minute 12 seconds to go in the first half. Texas A&M leading it 40-0. Jared Delaney in motion to the left side. Giles throws for Delaney. Hits him down to the 21st down, TCU. Check that. Wayne Waddy. 15-yard pickup on the play, and Corrington has the coverage. Holland helping out on the play. Wayne Waddy, who is a junior from Bowling, Texas.
Well, you know the Frogs would love to get in here. That was a good play by Giles. Pulled up and threw that thing on the money, too. In the coverage, too. They had some people there.
1st and 10 on the 20-yard line of the Aggies. Now the crowd calling to the defense to stop TCU as the handoff goes to Tony Darthard. And Johnny Holland right there on the tackle after a gain of 5 at the 15. And TCU takes a timeout with 36 seconds to go in the first half. They want to get on that scoreboard, at least come away with something in the first half.
Well, this is a team of the future. Now, Giles is an underclassman, and Darthard is an underclassman, a freshman. And a lot of these guys, they need to play well. They need to take some. You don't want to take a 50 or a 60-0 beating home with you for the winner. You want to take something home that's positive, that you can think about, remember, and think about, well, I can't wait till next year, we'll do more of this. And Jim's not going to let him forget it. He'll take a positive approach to this thing after the game, no matter what the score is. He'll accentuate all the positive things they've done. First, they've got to do them.
TCU's wins this year were over Tulane, Kansas State, and Houston, with losses to SMU, Arkansas, Rice, Baylor, Texas Tech, Texas, and North Texas State. This is the final game for the Frogs. 1 more to go for the Aggies.
This is a rough conference to play in if you don't have it together. I mean, if your team is not playing well or you have a lot of injuries, week after week you're going to take it on the chin. There's too many good teams in this conference.
2nd down. Giles throws, open man at the 5, drops the ball. Was it a reception and fumble? Incomplete is the call. Keith Burnett, at about the 5-yard line, had the ball only momentarily, not long enough for possession.
Well, of course, TCU, this just can't happen to this team. They cannot afford to make mistakes. They can't fumble. They can't drop passes. This ball right on the numbers to Burnett, and he drops it on the 5-yard line.
It'll be 3rd down, 5 coming up. We have 31 seconds to go in the first half. Aggies lead it 40-0. Jared Delaney will split wide to the right side as the Frogs come with a wishbone. Giles slipped. Down he goes. Nothing there. It'll be 4th down. Sadler covered him, and Jim Wacker wants a timeout with the 4th down coming up and 24 seconds to play in the first half.
TCU. Well, the formation, if you're playing defense now, you're playing against a team that's down 40-0, they come out in a wishbone formation, it can only be, and the down and distance is 3rd and about 7, it can only be a wide play, because that's pretty much the only way you're going to get the yardage. This is almost without exception, or it's going to be play action, which you're going to ignore. So the formation for TCU, because they are a wishbone team, really puts them at a disadvantage. Split backs will give the defense a little bit more to think about than a wishbone.
Jim Wacker, 4th year, 2nd year, took his team to the Bluebonnet Bowl with an 8-3 record. He had 4 national champions in NAIA and NCAA Division II competition. National Coach of the Year in both college and university levels. Boy, you know, Kevin, remember when we were sitting with Jim Wacker, I believe, in his office prior to the Texas game, and obviously he was only concentrating on the game the next day. But when he would allow himself to start talking a little bit about next year, he says, hey, I know that's the year that I've got to produce, but I also know it's the year when we're going to really have some talent back and some experience and some seniors. He preached that all the time about having experience and seniors.
And he has kept a very positive attitude throughout the year.
4th down. Going for it all, Delaney. Ball caught out of bounds by Waddy. Waddy and Delaney both in the corner, and the pass was thrown out of bounds, and TCU will turn it over.
Well, this is an example of what we talked about. I want you to count the people on this pattern. They've got a crowd in the corner of the end zone. See, you just can't do this. And this has happened. I talked about it earlier. It's happened throughout the day. TCU's had 2 or more receivers in the same area, and that's great. You've got 2 shots to catch the ball, but you also bring the defense, and when you're throwing it into the corner, 4 guys in the corner is too many.
Stump is the quarterback. The Aggies run the ball with Melvin Collins, a freshman from Temple, going to the 18, and a gain of 1. The clock runs with 9 seconds to go in the first half. So the Aggies have had it all their way in the first half today, leading at the first quarter 21-0, and after 2 periods, 40-0, Texas A&M. Well, you know, the Aggies have executed very well today. I don't know what Jim Wacker is going to do about his adjustments at halftime, but you've got to hand it to the Aggies too. They have done the things they set out to do.
Well, they executed the Horned Frogs is what they did, piece by piece, in the first half, and it's just a mismatch. It's a total mismatch, and it's really not a football game anymore. What we have now is really a practice, I believe, for TCU. They need to go into the locker room. He's got to pick out some people that he wants to see, play them, and watch how they do. For A&M, with a short week coming up, it really couldn't be better. This is what they want. In the second half, they could pick some people, some backups, play them too, and get their front people have an extra half of football to get ready for Texas. And I think that come Thursday, this team will be a lot more ready than they would be if in fact they had to go 60 minutes in a close game.
Well, the Aggies, led by Kevin Murray, is having an outstanding day, and a runaway in the first half, lead it after 2 periods, 40-0. And we'll be back after this message from your local station. This is the Raycom Sports Network.
Preceding performance has been brought to you by Porsche.
Test drive the new 928 S4 at South Point Porsche, Don McGill Porsche, and Gullo Haas Porsche.
When you send a package to Europe, do you get that sinking feeling that it could be anywhere? Here, there, out of your hands, out of your control, lost? Well, Federal Express goes to Europe. We make sending a package there as easy and reliable as it is here, because Federal tracks your package with computerized scanners. Federal Express, 2-day service to the major cities in Europe. Why fool around with anyone else?
You're watching 39 Gold, KHTV, Houston.
We're at halftime at Kyle Field in College Station, Texas, where the Aggies of A&M lead the TCU Horned Frogs by 40-0 at the half. Now let's take you on a tour of the TCU campus in Fort Worth.
Discovery. Values. Texas Christian University.
The TCU band has made its way to College Station today to entertain the fans here at halftime. And they are on the field right now. We'll be looking at the Texas A&M band a little later on. Right now, let's go to the field and enjoy the Horned Frog Band. At halftime, it is 40-0. Texas A&M. Murray having a great day, throwing for 2 touchdown passes. Vick a couple of TD runs. Woodside another. And we'll be back after this message from Dodge.
There came a moment when all the elements came together, unleashing a superbly equipped new breed of compact car, the Dodge Shadow. With 2 or 4-door availability, affordable price, a $550 protection plan, the new Dodge Shadow is going to cast a giant shadow across America. Dodge setting new standards of performance.
This is the average family most financial plans are made for. But at Pilot Life, we know families are made of real people, not statistics. That's why Pilot Life representatives never take an average approach. All people differ. Their goals, their problems, their needs, and of course their dreams. That's why no 2 Pilot Life financial plans are ever exactly alike. And that's why they all work.
When it comes to do-it-yourself projects, rely on True Value Hardware Store's professional quality master mechanic tools and their customer guarantee. Give our heavy-duty power tools like this 3/8-inch variable speed reversing drill for only $27.99. This 7 1/4-inch circular saw is lightweight, powerful, and just $42.99. And this finishing sander for only $39.99 gets the job done fast. Get master mechanic tools exclusively at most True Value Hardware Stores and home centers.
So you think you're a cowboy, but you're only
Willie Nelson, a legend in jeans.
with a mind to do.
And those jeans got to be Wrangler Cowboy Cut. Designed by cowboys, they're the only official jeans of the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association. Wrangler Cowboy Cut jeans.
Hey, everybody knows real cowboys wear Wrangler.
Legends of the Southwest Conference is brought to you by the Jefferson Pilot Companies.
Gabriel Rohr was a great athlete. In high school, he was a sprinter on the track team in San Antonio. He was a player that could rush the passer, had great quickness, great athletic movement, and also great strength. And when you have that combination of characteristics, you're going to be a pretty successful football player.
just a great football player. Just absolutely a great football player. And a good person, good kid. And tragedy that spoiled and took things away from him right in the prime of his life. But I can't help but think of the great plays I saw him play and make when he was at Texas Tech.
Appropriately named Senior Sack. Gabriel Rivera was the premier defensive lineman during the Southwest Conference season of 1982. Playing both nose guard and tackle, Rivera dominated opponents with strength, quickness, and desire.
Well, he had great desire. I think any time that you're an all-conference player and you're a first-team or first-round draft choice, you have to be a competitor and have to have great desire. Every time that I watched him play, he was really a dominant factor on the field.
Well, he had great ability. Gabe was a good basketball player. You know, he could stuff a ball. He could shoot from outside. He had good peripheral vision. And of course, as big as he was and as strong as he was, big assets. But his ability to move and kind of a concept of knowing where the football is going to be.
Postseason honors attest to the fact Gabe Rivera was indeed the best. AP and Kodak named Rivera All-America. AP also elected Rivera Southwest Conference Defensive Player of the Year. His individual success stood out on a team that was short on achievement.
I tell you, I think that when people stand out like he did on a losing team, that tells you a little bit about the character of that individual, because it's very easy to lay down or to quit after your team is 2-5 or 3-6 at the end of the season. And I think he played just as hard against SMU at the end of the season as he did probably against New Mexico the first game of the season.
A first-round choice to the Pittsburgh Steelers, Rivera again showed that he was bound for success. But a tragic automobile accident put an end to what was a promising career.
How good could he have been? I think the Pittsburgh Steelers thought he could be awfully good. There was a lot of talk about how well he did in those first preseason games. And again, I think because of his ability to run and his strength and size, he had an opportunity, at least, to be probably an outstanding professional football player.
Although the future of Rivera does not include football, his past did. And for that, Senior Sack will be remembered as a legend.
Legends of the Southwest Conference has been brought to you by the Jefferson Pilot Companies.
This is Captain again. We now expect to arrive at Kennedy Airport around 6:40 a.m.
I see you've got homework, too.
It never ends. You think when you get to this point, things would get easier.
Yeah, I know. It looks like that was quite a project.
Yeah, it was. Have a look. No trade secrets here.
Thanks. Impressive. I wish we could do work like this. But we have to crank it out every week.
We do ours every week.
Well, we can't afford to farm ours out. We have to do them on a computer.
We did this on our computer.
You did that on the computer?
Of course. If we farmed them out, I couldn't afford to ride up here.
I was 10 years old when I built my first model plane. I thought it was fantastic. Flew all of about 5 feet the first time out, but that was enough. I knew then I wanted to fly forever. It's a feeling that gets into your blood, and after 20 years of flying with Delta, it's still there. Hey, I may never get you to feel the way I do about flying, but sure would like to try.
Delta gets you there. We get you there with care.
So you think you're a cowboy, but you're only
Willie
a
Nelson, a legend in jeans.
with a mind to do
And those jeans got to be
everything.
Wrangler Cowboy Cut. Designed by cowboys, they're the only official jeans of the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association. Wrangler Cowboy Cut jeans.
Hey, those real cowboys wear Wrangler.
We're at halftime. The Aggies lead TCU 40-0, and now let's go to the field for one of the greatest bands on this universe, the Texas A&M Band. the drum majors of this band is Michael Bond, one of 3 drum majors. His brother Jeffrey is hospitalized in Dallas, watching this afternoon. And Jeffrey, we wish you a speedy recovery. Band. Today's Apple Classroom champion is Frances End of the University of Houston. Fran is a senior majoring in hotel and restaurant management. She's a 3-year member of the Houston tennis team who enjoys the theater, cycling, and matchbook collecting. Fran End of Houston, this week's Apple Classroom champion. And so the Aggie Band at halftime entertaining the fans here, and now let's visit the A&M campus.
Devin sure is a good lecturer.
Yeah. Hey, you guys, how about the sermon tonight? Are you ready? I'm ready. I did the tabbing last night.
How about 8 o'clock? Hydraulic. Well, let's try it one more time.
At Texas A&M University, every victory means a lot.
All right, that's what we were looking for.
You're going down a road behind the wheel of the new Dodge Dakota. The first true mid-size pickup ever made. With available 3.9-liter V6, room for 3, and an optional 8-foot bed. The new mid-size Dakota. Climb aboard. Cross into Dakota territory. Dodge Dakota, the new state of the American truck.
True Value Hardware stores unravel the mystery of choosing great gifts for do-it-yourselfers with this Snap-It Power Surge Controller that protects valuable equipment. It's just $9.99. And this First Alert lamp timer senses dust automatically. It's only $11.99. Earn a $2 rebate from Rayovac when you give this 6-volt workhorse lantern, only $10.99. And remodel step-by-step with the Ortho Home Improvement Encyclopedia, just $14.88 at most True Value Hardware stores.
Patrick Blair gets the basket, and the Red Raiders will try to come back with 6. Benford tipped up and in by Wachowski with 1 second left. Houston leads, 3 seconds left. The clock doesn't start till the ball is touched, and it is touched. And Benford gets his shot away. Hit it. Dixon, 2 seconds, launches the shot. He hit it. Dixon hit it. I do not believe it. Now let's take a look at today's halftime statistics brought to you by Delta Airlines.
Well, in most games, statistics don't necessarily tell the story. In this game, they do. TCU has rushed 19 times. There's their yardage. They're averaging 1 yard a carry. A&M with nearly 400 yards in total offense. It says 287. I believe that's supposed to be 387. Passing, they've been brilliant. No turnovers in the game. Time of possession, it's 40-0, and the statistics reflect it.
So the big 40-0 lead. We'll see what happens as both teams get ready to come back for the third quarter. And that's today's halftime statistics brought to you by Delta Airlines.
Delta gets you there with care.
to over 100 cities across the U.S. and overseas, including all the major Florida resorts.
Your Jefferson Standard agent is worried about you. He worries whether your current retirement plan will buy the kind of retirement you want, whether you'll be able to send the kids to school. If you become ill or disabled, will you have the right coverage to see you through recovery? Maybe you're not worrying about these things, but isn't it nice to know that somebody is?
Bill, it's all worked out. Well, I've got nothing to worry about then.
Jefferson Standard. Our business is your future. Even if this new Toyota FX16 didn't have a 16-valve twin cam, front-wheel drive and rack and pinion steering, fully independent suspension, and hot Goodyear Eagle GTs, it would still go fast, just because it's a reliable, economical Toyota.
Come on over, baby, whole lot of dealing going on. Who could ask for anything more?
See your Toyota dealer. Introducing gasolines that unlock the power in your car. New Gulf unleaded gasolines with high-tech Tech-Relief. Tech-Relief, the only additive in the gasoline chosen by all 4 U.S. car makers for their critical 50,000-mile EPA tests. Why? Because it's so effective for cleaning deposits that clog intake systems and rob engine power. New Gulf unleaded gasolines with Tech-Relief. Unlock the power.
Today's Southwest Conference football game is being brought to you by Dodge Cars and Trucks and by the Jefferson Pilot Company, by Apple Computers, by Gulf and its dealers, by Delta Airlines, and by your local Toyota dealer. Slater's kickoff goes out of the end zone as we get ready for the third quarter now, and the offensive unit of TCU comes on the field. Trailing by 40-0, Jim Wacker. What kind of adjustments, if any, can you make in this situation, Kevin?
No, I don't think it's a matter of adjustment. I don't know how you can adjust your way back from a 40-0 deficit, but what I think they'll do, Merle, is what I said. I think they're going to be looking at people. He's got to tell them it's important that you play well in the second half. The score now is really immaterial.
He'll play the wishbone, and Giles at quarterback, and Tatum is the fullback. And he doesn't get too much, maybe a yard or so. Larry Kelm, 65, the weak inside linebacker, and Jay Muller, number 82, who's been probably the most consistent lineman for A&M this year. He's the senior from Conroe. He plays the defensive end.
He has 8 sacks. I've played in a few of these, Merle, on the Frog side, 40-0 shots, and it can be fun if you. If you go out there with the right attitude and you just kind of fly around to the ball and play, it can be fun. You've lost the game, and now it's just time to go out and play football.
Again, Giles and Tatum gets shelled back to the 15-yard line, getting nothing. Johnny Holland, number 11, the All-America linebacker who plays the other side from Kelm. They're both inside, and they really compete in a way against each other.
Well, the thing about the option is the exchange, and Giles really has a rough time. Can't get his hand out from Tatum's stomach there, and the great players that do it so well, like Rasko runs the option so well, you think it's almost second nature. It is second nature to him, but it takes a long time to learn that. Giles hasn't picked it up yet.
Third down 9, Giles throwing on the run. Look out! Interception picked up by Flowers, and Flowers has the ball inside the 20, down to the 16-yard line. James Flowers, the junior from Bryan, who had 3 interceptions in the game against Houston, which we did, and he returned at 20.
Well, he had 3 on the year. Flowers is an excellent player, but Giles throws this on the run off his back foot. That strong arm is not going to help him when you throw it off your back foot. It's behind the receiver. Flowers in great position, picks it off, and off he goes down to the 16-yard line.
So it's first down for the offense. Talking about those linebackers competing against each other, Johnny Holland and Larry Kelm are the greatest fans of each other. They say, hey, you did one, now I'll get one. Here's Murray being rushed. Murray throwing, completes it to Bernstein out of bounds at the 15. Now, I'll tell you, Andy Pitts was all over Kevin Murray, but look what he does.
Well, 40-0 will help you. I mean, this guy's totally relaxed. He's talking about having fun. He's just out there having fun. Pitts gets a hand on him. He lofts it over to Bernstein, who's running one of those crossing patterns, having 3 guys chasing him, but not close enough.
They get only 2 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8 at the 15-yard line of TCU.
That's a shot of Bernstein sneaking out and getting ahead of the defense.
Aggies to the run, and Roger Vick just keeps plowing away inside the 10, down to about the 8-yard line, and John Dull, the freshman linebacker, puts the hit on him. 509 completions. He is now 3rd on the Southwest Conference all-time list. Kevin Murray, just a junior. Vick now has 14 carries for 80 yards, so he's coming up on another 100-yard game. I believe I said he had 5 coming into this one. So he's going for number 6 today. 3rd down, about 1. Roger Vick. Roger Vick, his 3rd touchdown run of the day. That gives him 9 for the season.
Hey, Merle, if it's true that you get to kiss your date every time you score here at A&M, there's going to be a lot of smeared lipstick in the stands today.
Slater for the extra point try. Shea Walker will hold it. Slater does it again. He's missed only 1 this year. 47-0. Texas A&M over TCU.
Power football. There's only 1 back there. Nobody out there. Overrunning the play defensively, and then Vick with a great balance getting in. TCU defense worn down. They're on the field a lot in that first half. Great job by the left side of the line for the Aggies. And that is a great running back right there.
So, 16 yards, 3 plays, very little time. The Aggies take a 47-0 lead now. And we'll be back after this message from Dodge.
There came a moment when all the elements came together, unleashing a superbly equipped new breed of compact car, the Dodge Shadow. With 2 or 4-door availability, affordable price, a $550 protection plan. The new Dodge Shadow is going to cast a giant shadow across America. Dodge setting new standards of performance.
One reason the cost of your company's group benefit plan may be so hard to contain is because it assumes everyone in the group is the same. But people are different, and so is the coverage they need. That's why Pilot Life developed the Flex Advantage benefit plan. Because of its flexibility, Flex Advantage can help contain costs without limiting benefits, and your people get more freedom to choose the benefits they need. Flex Advantage, another example of good sound thinking that works from Pilot Life.
Slater's kickoff goes way back into the end zone and out of it. It'll be 1st down for TCU at the 20, and let's go to scores up in the ball games.
Ooh, that's been that way for quite a while now. Same scores in the second quarter. Wisconsin trailing Michigan State. They had the early lead in that one, and Missouri pounding Kansas. Both have had long years. Penn State, that one hasn't changed in a while either. 17-7. Clemson and South Carolina. The Gamecocks pulled ahead. That'll go for a while. Carolina has come back to tie Duke. Kentucky and Tennessee. Tennessee early in the game leading by 4.
One of those teams could be headed for a bowl, possibly the Liberty. That pass incomplete intended for Delaney. Out of bounds. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 20. Ron Giles, a freshman from Madison High School out of Houston, one of the most highly recruited players in the nation. I mean, you talk about a blue chipper, this kid is it. Coming into the game today, he did 12 out of 23 passes for 158 yards. And of course, he had the severely, the broken arm that was so severely broken that they had to do all kinds of work on it, but my goodness.
It was his throwing arm.
Yeah, but he's come back very powerful. Johnson drops the football. It is picked up by Holly of A&M. And it is going to be A&M's ball. Jeff Hawley, the junior from Bryan. And so the Aggies will take over at the 24.
Well, the one thing that the Frogs didn't do in the first half was turn the ball over. They had 0 turnovers, first 2 possessions here in the second half, and they've turned it over to A&M. Well, you can replace people, but you can't hold football players back. You can't make them try any less hard than they're supposed to. And these guys for A&M, you give them field position like that, no matter whether it's the first team or the second team, and this is the first team, they're going to try to put it in there.
2 wideouts for Kevin Murray, 24-yard line of TCU. Bernstein lined up left and went right, back to the left side. Here comes Murray. Murray's got some room on the side. Now he's going to throw back and throw to Bernstein. And he hit Bernstein right in the middle of double coverage. Gain of 8.
This is a tough one here for the Frog defense. Murray will come this way. When he goes back the other way, watch the 2 Frogs run into each other and knock each other down. It's Caldwell, and I think it was Simeon. Now, Murray could have run this thing in. Instead, he pulls up and hits Bernstein, who will be eternally grateful in his rush to be the leading receiver with Shea Walker.
Second down, Valentine in motion. Vick out there. Valentine made a block for him on the corner, and Vick cut it to about the 11. So Valentine out in front in a gain of 6 for Vick as he comes up closer and closer to the 100-yard mark. He has 94 yards rushing now today. And we have an injured Frog. Looks like Darrell Davis. So the Aggies have a first down on the TCU 11-yard line. And we have a timeout. 11:52 to go in the third quarter. Texas A&M 47 and TCU nothing.
Now's the time to vacation in Europe with Delta. We'll give you a free car for a week, a free hotel room for a night, and just $52 a night after that. We'll fly you to England, or France, or Germany, or Ireland. For prices in your city, call your travel agent. Europe and Delta.
Introducing gasolines that unlock the power in your car. New Gulf unleaded gasolines with high-tech Techroline. Power is robbed by intake deposits. Power is unlocked by Techroline. Techroline, so effective for cleaning intake systems, including fuel injectors, that it's the only additive in the gasoline chosen by all 4 U.S. car makers for their critical EPA tests. New Gulf unleaded gasolines with Techroline. Unlock the power.
Darrell Davis is the injured Horned Frog. He leaves the field, is now replaced by Andy Pitts, who will play a defensive end. Oh, the Frogs have just been decimated by injuries this year. And now come up with another one. Kevin Murray, touchdown. His 4th of the day. An 11-yard touchdown run right up the middle for Vick.
Well, that was a play they hadn't used. They went to the fullback in the I formation. They'd been running the tailback. It was a short inside handoff to Vick. Defense nowhere to be found.
So the extra point is missed. Checky's, I tell you, he is a perfectionist. He wants everything to work, and rightfully so. But it's 53-0 Texas A&M over TCU with 11:33 to go in the first half. Vick, by the way, now 17 carries, 104 yards, 4 touchdowns. Keith Woodside has scored 1 on the ground. Murray has thrown for 2. And we'll go back and look at Mr. Vick again.
Well, again, watch the fullback now. It's an inside handoff, little spin move by Murray. No defense. Everybody's gone, linebackers are gone, and in he goes. Pucker up, everybody. It's another touchdown. Again, see how quickly everybody moved out? That's that fullback in the eye. He gets there so quickly that you've got to hold your ground. If he cuts back and there's a hole, he's gone, and he's gone.
Vick with 4 touchdowns today, 10 for the year on the ground. It's cotton picking time again, huh? Well, the Aggies were there last year. They'll take a step closer with a victory here today. And, of course, they could wrap it up with a win over Texas Thursday night.
Well, they've answered one question. That's right. That makes the Texas game for A&M. It's now the game. If they win it, they're in the Cotton Bowl.
Slater kicks it off. He's had a very strong leg today. And Brooks is going to run it out. Tries to cut, slips and goes down on the 15.
Well, that's a great idea, this 12-man thing where they bring the kids out and they let them run under kickoffs. I talked to a bunch of them yesterday, and they just love it. They think, a lot of them were telling me that they had never expected to play football again and now to play for a nationally ranked team. And even though they just run under kickoffs, they all, however, said that they do harbor dreams of someday moving up to the regular squad and playing a position for the Aggies during the game. But they are content running under kickoffs. They like it.
Mark Wurzbach made the last tackle for the 12th man. Out of the wishbone comes Giles, and Giles slips and goes down. Johnny Holland right there to cover him. No gain on the play. Some of the fellows that are on that 12th man squad are Dean Barry, Danny Balcar, David Joyner, Spencer Baum, John Burnett, David Coolidge, Scott Gillespie, Ronnie Glenn, Bill Walker, Jeff Boutwell, Chad Adair, David Fry. And there's Dan Pollard and Brian Edwards and Sean Page and Bobby Middleton and Ed Silverman and Rick Tankersley. It's part of the 12th man. You say it's more than 12? I'll tell you, when they come at you, it looks like there are about 3 dozen of them.
Well, they get about 250 out a year for that team, and they have cuts.
Bradford carried for 4, stopped by Johnny Holland, and 426 total yards for A&M, 61 for TCU. Ashley Eddington had a couple of tackles today. Chris Probst, Harold Huggins, Larry Motley, and Gary Sorrell, and Robert Crouch enjoying it all. He's our spotter today, one of the originals. Brian Mize is spotting TCU today. David Rasco is back. Giles has gone to the sideline. It is 3rd down and 7. Rasco right over the middle to Bednarski, and he couldn't hold it.
Bednarski's been out. He's had a bad ankle. He's been hobbled. He played against Texas a little bit, but he re-injured it. He's just not into the game, hasn't been in the game, and dropped the ball.
Coming in to kick is Chris Becker, and Becker has just not only been outstanding today, he's been outstanding all year. The nation's 4th leading punter, Rod Harris, the sophomore from Dallas, is back for the reception. This kick's not too good, but he may get a pretty good roll, but he didn't. It went out of bounds. He got no roll at all. So it's out of bounds on the 46-yard line of Texas A&M. That kick covered only 34 yards. That's what happens when you say something nice about somebody. Texas A&M 53 and TCU nothing. And we'll be back after this message from Bud Light.
Give me a light. Bud Light. Oh, the chili.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get. Give me a light. Bud Light. So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Give me a light. No, Bud Light.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
This is the dawn of a new day for the station wagon. Introducing the all-new 1987 Toyota Camry wagon. Camry now combines the wide-open spaces of a wagon, the passing power of a new 16-valve fuel-efficient engine, and the Toyota quality that has made Camry the most trouble-free new car, domestic or import, sold in America. That's more, anything more, Toyota.
Merle Herman and Kevin Kiley with you from College Station, Texas, and the score you're looking at is correct. 53-0 Texas A&M, and 10 minutes, 9 seconds to go. First down as Stump is in there at quarterback. Gain of 2. And look at this. Ohio State hanging in there.
That was 14-6 a few moments ago. Now 17-13. Michigan closing in on the Buckeyes.
A moment ago when I said 53-0 with minutes plus to go. That's in the third quarter. 2nd and 8. Stump at quarterback. And Melvin Collins into TCU territory at the 48. Gain of 4.
A lot of the credit for the lead and the performance by the Aggies today has to go to that front line. They did a super job. First team front line manhandle TCU from the opening gun, and they just gave Murray all the protection he needed and opened up holes for the running game.
3rd down. Ford and Washington to the wideout. And Stump throws and completes it to James House out of the backfield. And John Dull, 51, the linebacker, and defensive end Greg Moore, 44, make the hit. And a 4-yard pickup.
Just about everything they've done today has worked offensively. And certainly defensively, too, for that matter.
The Aggies rack up another. 25 for the game now. Dunston's House in motion. The tailback, Collins. And Collins is near the 35. Ricky Rougeley, number 6, the left quarterback, and John Dull, number 51, the strong linebacker, make the tackle. They'll mark it on the 36. Kevin Murray, that's the book on him today. 20 out of 28, 229 yards, and his day may be over.
Played better than that. He had passes dropped. That should be about 24 out of 28 for more yardage. He was very, very much on target.
Collins and House are in the eye. 2nd down, and we have a whistle stopping play, and apparently some movement. Illegal procedures the call against the Aggies.
There was a play last week against Arkansas. They called the center for moving the ball, and it was a big play in that game. It appears that he continues to do it.
So the procedure call sends the ball back to the 41. I think we had one major penalty today, Kevin.
Yeah, it's been penalty-free. Actually, first half, no penalties and no turnovers in that first half. Since then, of course, TCU has turned it over twice. There weren't that many plays. They were 3 and out the whole first half. It would have been tough to turn it over.
Chris Ford is in there, is wide to the right side. Is Stump looks for a receiver and completes this one to House. House has the first down inside the 30 at the 28. Romeo Smith, 43, makes the tackle for TCU. First down on the 28 of the Horned Frogs on a gain of 13.
When you're only rushing a few people, you've got to get your best pass rusher in the game. And here's Caldwell. He's their best pass rusher, frustrated, can't really get around the offense at all, doing a good job. And that's really coaching and balance, as I said, on the offensive line.
Number 2 offensive line is in there for TCU. In fact, their 2nd unit all the way. And it is Collins who just keeps chugging away with Andy Pitts trying to get him down, and he has finally dropped at about the 17. And a gain of 11 and another first down for A&M.
Well, this is what will happen to you when you're down 53-0. You get a big back in the backfield. There's Moore with a hand on him. He falls off. And Pitts is hanging on for dear life. And these guys have got, even though they're tired and they're down, they've got to get in front of these guys and get them down. Wrestle them to the ground.
First down for the Aggies. Collins into the middle at the 10, at the 9. John Dull, 51, the strong linebacker, the freshman from Newton. Stops him, but a gain of 8 for the Aggies. Tony Bartley is now playing the left tackle. Calvin Whitfield, the left guard. John Elam, the center. Bill Cavanaugh, right guard. Frank Case, right tackle. That's the interior offensive line now for A&M.
A lot of that, when they get more yards, is positioning defensively. You need to get in front of the ball carrier. A lot of these guys are hitting them, attacking from the side. And that's not going to help you get him down without him going for more yardage.
House on the pitch and on the hurdle, and he gets inside the 5. Ricky Rougeley, number 6, the left cornerback, drops him. They'll mark the ball at the 5-yard line. Gain of 4. So the Aggies, who lead it by a score of 53-0, 6 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the third quarter. It is a first down at the 5. Collins, not much, maybe a yard.
You have to see a blitz. Now, I know you don't blitz Kevin Murray, but I would blitz Stump, definitely. I'd give Craig a shot at a blitz and see if he handles it as well as Murray does. When the backup people in, could be something, it might be something that would work for TCU.
Second down and goal. The ball inside the 5. Collins is the tailback. He's got the pitch. And he fights for the end zone. Did he make it? He didn't. He's just barely outside. A touchdown for Collins. So Melvin Collins, a freshman from Temple, gets his second touchdown of this season, and it is 60-0 Aggies.
A tremendous collision at the goal line, and Melvin just pushed his way in.
The extra point is right through there. It is now 61. Nope, check that. 60, I've lost count here. 60 it is. 60-0.
Well, Melvin Collins is having a pretty big day. He's been filling in. He's going to get an opportunity to play with the score 60-0, and he's done a super job. Number 32. Watch the collision at the end of this play and how Collins' legs. Watch him keep driving here. Now, this is a pretty good hit. Well, Melvin's, he got it in there. Watch his hands. What he did on the way down while somebody was whipping his head off, he put his arms and the ball out. Well, watch him get his head. Well, Melvin says, I'm close. I'm going to try and get it. You see the corner of the ball on the left there by Rusley's leg again. You'll see it again. Enough presence of mind by Collins to take his hands and push the ball over. It's in there somewhere. Touchdown.
60 points is the most points A&M has ever scored in a Southwest Conference game, and they lead the Horned Frogs in this one 60-0.
Some of the best workshops rely on accessories from True Value hardware stores, like the rugged Plano Totemore with drawer and carrying handle for just $5.29. Bright and dark areas with a Woods Wire retractable real light for only $14.99. The Master Mechanic 2-piece mini locking plier set is $9.99, less a $3 mail-in rebate. And the Snap-It Power Strip with 8 grounded receptacles is also just $9.99 at most True Value hardware stores and home centers.
You can't match the thrill and excitement of college football in this week's Southwest Conference Game of the Week. You'll see all the action live over the Raycom Sports Network. Each week, Merle Harmon and Kevin Kiley deliver first-class play-by-play and color analysis. So you not only see all the plays, but also understand the strategy as the teams battle it out. Exciting college football action at its best Saturday on this Raycom Sports Network station.
It's the Rice Owls and the Houston Cougars next Saturday at noon. Scott Slater's kickoff brought back by Reggie Davis. And Davis comes chugging up the middle across the 25. Uh-oh, got a little extracurricular activity going down at the 20, but it's broken up in a hurry. A 25-yard return, and the tackle is made by Sean Page.
Reggie's load. He's 222 pounds returning kickoffs. 59-10 was the previous high. Of course, we still got some time. If TCU can get on the board, at least they cut the margin down.
The Frogs in the wishbone, and Bednarski is the fullback. Lasko pitches on the outside to Higgs. Boy, does he take a pop from Terrence Brooks, number 27, the junior cornerback from Dallas.
What a play by Brooks, right over the tackle. That was just a great defensive play. Went over the block and into the ball carrier on a fly.
And Brooks has to get out of the game. He shook himself up. He'll be replaced by Jeff Hawley. You know, Brooks, he's had to fight back from injuries of a year ago, and it's been a kind of tough road for Terrence Brooks.
Yeah, a dislocated kneecap last year, and he's come back, and you can see how he could dislocate things playing that way.
Timeout is called for A&M.
Just a junior. He'll be back next year, Jeff Brooks.
5 minutes and 4 seconds to go in the third quarter.
cheerleaders here.
They had over 30,000 here last night at midnight to get ready for this ball game. Well, there's so much tradition here. We talked about the tradition of the 12th man. There's the tradition of the band, and they're an outstanding organization, and the precision with which they march, I mean, really turns a crowd on. I wish that we had more time to even show them at halftime when they do perform. But boy, just to see them for a little bit is something. Here's a handoff to Bradford, and Bradford is the 28, and he is knocked out of bounds. He gets 3 yards on the play.
Well, the thing about the veer and the option and the wishbone, you don't want to get behind. You don't want to be behind even by 14 points. 60 presents a major obstacle for this team because they are an option team. And now A&M, with no thought of losing, no chance of losing, is able to just come on him.
Delaney goes in motion to the left side. Rasco runs the option, caught behind the line, thrown back at about the 22. And it was John Roper, number 83, the number 2 on the number 2 unit, offensive, or rather outside linebacker, making the hit. Loss of 6.
Well, this is what I'm talking about. They can just, defensively, they can do anything they want, and they come hard. Rasco with an idea, maybe to pitch it, maybe to throw it, doesn't have enough time, and they bury him.
4th down, 14, and Becker pops one downfield, and that drives Harris way back to the 20. There is a flag in the play, and Harris tries to get to the far side, is pulled out from behind at about the 31. And I believe it was Bill Tomini who was down the field to make the tackle. A kick of 55 yards. Let's see what the flag's about. Lee Friday, our statistician, is kept busy today racking up all of these statistics.
His fingers are bleeding.
A&M with 30 first downs today. On the other side of the coin, TCU has been limited to 3. Remember to stay tuned to the end of today's game when we'll be selecting our Dodge Player of the Game. That's coming up at the end of today's telecast, the Dodge Player of the Game. We await the call by Doyle Jackson, the referee. Personal foul, roughing the kicker.
There you go, Newman with the kick. Oh, that's a tough call there. Becker's been the biggest offensive man. Look at this. I mean, that's just not a penalty. That should not be a penalty.
Why did they decline the penalty?
I guess it wasn't a first down. Well, they didn't want to kick it again.
With Becker's leg? First down on the 31-yard line. Becker, the 4th leading punter in the nation.
He'll be number 1. If he should have about 5 or 6 more attempts today, he could be number 1 the way he's kicking it.
First down on the 31. Craig Stump is a quarterback for Texas A&M, the junior from Jefferson High School in Port Arthur. Sylvester Morgan is now in as a tight end. Stump runs the option and comes back up the middle and goes across the 35 to the 37. Chris Shaw, number 86, is there on the tackle. Greg Moore also in to help out. 6 on the play. Second down, 4 coming up.
Well, that Texas game could be a big game for A&M, and this is a great opportunity for them to get their backup people, a lot of experience. Stump, who hasn't played much, is able to come in and run the offense for a while in case something bad does happen against Texas. They'll have people ready.
This is Collins. Collins scored his second touchdown of the season a little earlier. John Dull there to make the tackle, is very close to a first down, and they may have it. They get 4 yards, and the officials will call timeout. You know, Craig Stump was the Aggie quarterback when Kevin Murray came on the scene, and Stump has really handled it well. In place of pouting and saying, hey, wait a minute, this was my job when I came here. Murray, one of those unexpected signees who gave up his potential baseball career and decided to play college football and chose Texas A&M, and that put the Stump at the number 2 seat. But to his credit, he has been a team man all the way and has been an outstanding punter. for Texas A&M. A lot of ways you can contribute. That's the way Kevin was when they moved him to linebacker and places letting him play quarterback.
Kicking and screaming the whole way.
Third down and an inch. And plenty by Collins for the first down to the 45. We have 3 minutes and 28 seconds to play in the third quarter. Texas A&M leading TCU 60-0. They get 4 yards on that last one. Collins, the freshman from Temple. Pretty good-looking running back. Vick, of course, is a senior. Ira Valentine, a senior. Woodside will be back. He's a junior. House, a sophomore. Matt Gurley, a sophomore. So there's experience coming back. And this handoff goes, or flip goes to Howe, the pitch rather. He gets to the 49. Greg Moore pulls him down after a 4-yard pickup. Moore is number 44 from Huffman, Texas, a freshman redshirt.
All right, here they come, left side. A lot of power, I formation, put your head down. And for one of the few times today, TCU's defense is there. Moore is covering up on the end. As you can see, 60-0. We're still in the third quarter, and TCU's defense has not been there most of the day.
Second down. Stump, options to the right, keeps the ball himself, takes it to the 45. Tracy Simeon, 56, from Sweeney, Texas, the sophomore, makes the tackle after a 6-yard pickup. There's some pretty good blocking going on with that second team offensive line for Texas A&M, Kevin. Doesn't make a difference what the score is. They're executing.
Yeah, well, they get a chance to play, and they want to play. The thing that comes to mind with me, Merle, is that last week, A&M against Arkansas, they scored 10 points. We had them against Houston. Houston kept them out of the end zone. 3 field goals and a defensive touchdown. 4 field goals and a defensive touchdown. And this is really the first opportunity we've seen to see how awesome they are. We've had to see how awesome they are offensively. This is a pretty awesome offensive machine.
It is a first down at the 45-yard line. 2 minutes, 29 seconds to go in the third quarter. A&M, well, we talked about their first downs a moment ago, and that's the margin right there, 28 difference. We have a flag thrown. Apparently somebody moved.
Right guard. Right guard.
Bill Kavanaugh.
Yeah, he
58.
jumped. He was set. He jumped a little bit. They have been converting. The thing about first downs, another thing, A&M has been converting almost 45% of their third down situations. And I think that's a direct reflection on Murray, his accuracy, the way they run patterns, coaching. That's an incredible figure. If you can get 33 to 40%, you're doing real well. And for the year, A&M has been doing about 45%.
Chris Ford is split out to the right side. It is first down at midfield. Straight ahead comes James House, the tailback, and John Dull comes up in the hole along with Andy Pitts. The linebackers, the inside linebackers, to bring him down after a gain of 4. Roger Vick, what a day. Bernstein, what a day. Vick with 4 touchdowns. Bernstein, an outstanding tight end, moved ahead as the #1 receiving tight end in the country with his work this afternoon. Second down, 11. That is a lateral. That is a forward pass. And
that is a 2-yard loss.
Yeah, at the midfield stripe.
It was fun, though. They're laughing. I don't blame them for laughing. I like to see this one on a piece of paper and see what it was meant to do. This thing is thrown clearly backwards, 5 yards, and now we're just scrambling for our lives here. TCU all over the place. And Stump becomes the receiver, and he's down. I have no idea, folks. I can't analyze that for you. I have no idea what the intended completion of that was supposed to be.
I think that was Haverder's second pass of the year. Wide open. Ford can take off. Touchdown, Aggies. his first touchdown of the year, and also Stump's first touchdown throw, as the extra point is good. Now there are 38 seconds left to play in the third quarter. It is Texas A&M 67, TCU nothing.
Well, Frogs have been doing this all day. They've been overrunning the ball carrier or the receiver. They'll do it to Chris Ford here. Watch him all overrun it. See Booty come by, and now Ford just turns on the juice. And Moore, a linebacker, good effort by Moore, trying to get him keep him out of the end zone. Doesn't really pick it up. Okay, here's Ford. I want you to watch the defense. So you have to keep outside leverage on this guy. Booty coming. He doesn't even see him. He has another player. He's covering another player. They overrun it. Picks his own guy. And now Moore trying to get him, but not quite.
So Chris Ford, the sophomore from Angleton, Texas, had not caught a pass until today. Now he has a touchdown pass. And 33 first downs is now an Aggie single-game record. And a happy Chris Ford on the sideline. Michigan in the fourth quarter. Big comeback against Ohio State.
Well, it must have exploded. That thing was 17-14 just a few minutes ago.
That could come down to an athletic director's vote to see who goes to the Rose Bowl. Line drive kick back into the end zone and out of the end zone. First down on the TCU 20.
Well, this game has gone from being out of reach to now where you really got to get pumped up if you're TCU to keep them from getting into the 70s and 80s, which would be the ultimate embarrassment. I mean, now you really got to start playing hard. If you were coasting before when you were down 40-0, if that in fact was what you were doing, you better start getting it up here because we're talking about history now.
Ron Giles at quarterback. Bobby Davis for about 6. Johnny Holland, number 11, and Kip Corrington, number 10, on the tackle. Penn State really rolling now.
Yeah, they're headed for a date with Miami. Number 1 and number 2.
If Michigan goes on to beat Ohio State, then it would set up a tie in the Big Ten, and the conference athletic directors would decide which team goes to the Rose Bowl, and then, presumably, the one that doesn't go to the Rose Bowl will come to the Cotton Bowl. We've got household changes being made now. All of the seniors have left the game. This is the final home game of the year for these Aggie seniors. They'll play at Austin Thursday night, Thanksgiving night, and the crowd gives them a standing O. Those are the defensive seniors who have left the field.
I found something interesting yesterday. They don't have homecoming here. They have class reunion. I saw a sign for the class of 71 out there. They never have homecoming. Every week it's a different class reunion.
Second down short. About 3, 4. Bobby Davis trying to get that first down. He's not going to quite make it, though. He gets 2 yards. Rod Anthony, number 8, the free safety, on the tackle for the Aggies. And we have 9 seconds to go, and I believe we probably had the last play of the third quarter. Third down, about a yard when we continue, but the clock has run out, and the third quarter has come to an end. So at the end of 3, the Aggies of Texas A&M are leading TCU 67-0. The Aggies led 21-0 at the first quarter, 40-0 at the half, and now 67-0 at the end of 3 periods. And we'll be back after this message from your local station. This is the Raycom Sports Network.
You know, one of the secrets to writing a really great sports column is having inside sources. And between the people I know and Kenny and Dale's sources, you get some solid information.
Yeah, we're always digging up the news, and we back each other up.
That's right, Kenny. That's why we're such an unbeatable team. Yeah, one for all and all for one, right, guys?
Which one of you guys is Robertson?
Herskowitz, Hand, and Robertson.
Uh-oh.
Another high-scoring difference between the other paper and the Houston Post.
Well, I thought I saw him up in the press box. I'll go get him.
Welcome to the most beautiful store in the world, the original Christmas store. Surround yourself with the sights and sounds of Christmas, the magic, the memories. It's all here to take home with you. Twinkling lights, 500,000 of them, over 1 million ornaments. Tradition, excitement, nostalgia.
See the original Christmas store, a magical place. Southwest Freeway at Gessner. Don't miss it.
You're watching 39 Gold, KHTV, Houston.
Back to the field in the fourth quarter. On a pitch, coming back to Davis, and they will not get the first down. They will lose yardage. Tim Landrum, the number 3 outside linebacker, and Jackson, number 53, the strong inside linebacker on the number 2 unit, make the hit. It'll be 4th down and 3. The Reveille and the Frog are getting to know each other today. This is Becker, and he has been very active today. That leg's got to be getting a little bit tired. That's Rod Harris on the return inside his own 30, and he moves near the 40 before he is dropped. Tommy Sharp, number 42, has the tackle. Kick of 46 yards. First down for the Aggies. Give me that ball. No, you take it. Well, we have a flag dropped, and here comes a penalty against the Aggies.
Well, it's a tough one, Merle. This would be a tough one to swallow. 67-0.
Clipping penalty against Texas A&M. Takes the ball back to the 18-yard line.
Jim Wacker's going to need all of that positive personality of his, I think, to deal with this. This is an awful beating.
Well, we've got some number 3 offensive lineman in now for Texas A&M. Craig Stump operating inside his 20, pitches it, and it goes to House, and House is across the 30 and has a first down at about the 32. James House, the sophomore from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, gain of 13.
The House really does well to pay attention here because he's already passed Stump when Stump pitches it. That's a little bit of a forward lateral or a pass. It'll go as a completion. House running it up there for another first down.
First and 10 for Texas A&M. Stump on the reverse. Taylor. And Anthony Taylor gets about, 9 yards. It'll be at the 41-yard line.
Good play to run against a tired defense. Guys who've been kind of beaten down, their legs are tired, and they get it going in one direction, you got to reverse go in the other one. You could break that thing.
So the Aggies leading by 67-0. First down, or second down rather, and inches to go at the 41-yard line. Stump pitches it. House gets the first down, and he is on the way. John Booty, who would not give up on a play in the second quarter, stopping an Aggie wide open touchdown on a pass play, wouldn't give up on that one either, and pulled House down from behind.
Well, it says a lot for Stump and House, but it says a lot for Booty, too. Look at the acceleration by House right through the defense for TCU. Now, here's Booty, a guy down 67-0, running a 4.4 and dragging him down. That may not mean much today, but it could mean a lot next year for TCU. There's a kid that you'll see a lot of in the years to come. John Booty.
57-yard run.
And about a 70-yard run for Booty to make the play.
Ross and Hartley are the tight ends. They go to the run for the touchdown and get it. It is Melvin Collins, his second touchdown of the day. It is now 73 to nothing. The extra point try coming up by Scott Slater, and he has missed only 2 this year, one in this ball game. So it is now 74 to nothing. Texas A&M is leading TCU.
And I was sure that Collins was in the last time. I'm not so sure about this one. It looked like they stacked it up pretty well. Hard to tell. Maybe that last little push by the TCU defensive player was the one that did it. From behind, Collins, again, power football lead blocker. Here they come. Frogs do a good job of piling up. You can't tell really how far he goes. Now we'll see it from the sideline. Right somewhere in there is the ball.
Well, TCU down by 74 to nothing, the worst margin ever. Last was 72 in 1915. We'll be back after this message from Dodge.
There came a moment when all the elements came together, unleashing a superbly equipped new breed of compact car, the Dodge Shadow. With 2 or 4-door availability, affordable price, a $550 protection plan, the new Dodge Shadow is going to cast a giant shadow across America. Dodge setting new standards of performance.
Bye-bye. Being a big brother taught me responsibility real fast. I take my little sister to ballet, music lessons. I watched her grow up. And boy, the questions she had. I didn't have all the answers, but I was there. Maybe that's why I enjoy being a Delta Redcoat. I get a great feeling out of helping people. Only now, I take my daughter to ballet.
Delta gets you there. We get you there with care.
The kickoff by Slater is returned by Mark Tipps, and he gets the ball to the 35, possibly the 36. Dean Barry of the 12th man squad makes the tackle. They'll mark it right on the 35-yard line.
That's Ray Barry's brother from Baylor, the great linebacker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's really proud of him, too.
Yeah, he should be. He was one of the fellows I spoke to yesterday. Said he thought he was never going to play again. Comes from a great football family. Here he is on the 12th man team for A&M.
David Rasco at quarterback, rolling to the left to throw. And it's incomplete. Jared Delaney was in the pattern at the 45-yard line. He was the man that was to get it, but a flag was thrown down, and a penalty is indicated against the Texas A&M Aggies.
Yeah, that's going to be a passer coming in and hitting Rasco after the throw. They'll get a first down.
Tim Landrum, the outside linebacker, could have gotten a little too enthusiastic. So the penalty takes the ball to the midfield stripe.
Frogs had really only been in Aggie territory once today, and that was on the last drive of the second quarter. Here you're going to see Landrum, 26. I don't know that that's maybe the head, maybe because he grabbed him by the head, but that he had left the ground before he threw the ball.
That is the first down of the second half for TCU, and their 4th of the game. A little misdirection on this handoff to Bednarski, and he gets 2 with Batiste. Number 2, weak side linebacker. Tim Landrum, number 3, outside linebacker. I'm talking about the units they play on now. Bednarski hobbles off the field.
That's that ankle. He's had an ankle for a couple of weeks, kept him out pretty much last week against Texas, and he's hurt it again. But he, like everyone else, he'll have the off-season, the winter, to get over it.
They split the backs. Tatum or Bednarski. This pass completed by Rasco to Gary Ford, number 96. And Jackson, 53, the strong inside linebacker, has the tackle. Tony Jones, number 20, helps out.
Good pattern to run. Tight end is tough. Tough for linebackers to cover him, those quick patterns. Rasco delivers the ball, and they get out of bounds. Frogs need for something good to happen here. It's been a long day.
Rasco, 1 completion for 7 yards. And that was it. 3rd down inches. Aggie defense being called upon by the crowd to stop him. but it's a first down as Bradford easily gets it to the 36. Patrick Bradford, a senior from Houston, brought down by Gary Jones and Tony Jones.
Bradford playing in his last game, a senior. He was once a starter. He's still playing, wants to play, gets a tackler, sticks his head down. This could be the end of his football career. And when you're a senior in college and you're not going to play pro football, these games they're meaningful. And I know there's a lot of players on that TCU bench that probably feeling pretty bad that their last game would end like this.
TCU has just completed its first third down conversion of the day. Burnett, nice catch, almost a first down, a little bit short. Terrence Brooks had the coverage. TCU 1 out of 12 in third down conversions today.
Well, here's a guy, Burnett. Rasco to Burnett. This is a nice play. Rasco a little bit of time, and he throws that thing out there, and the only one who could possibly catch this thing is Burnett.
Second down inches for TCU. That's Tatum for the first down to the 20, brought down by Brooks, but Tatum gets 7. Roscoe is from Carthage, Texas. There's the story of the game, and under A&M, that 74 is correct if you just joined us. 74-0. The Aggies lead it. The Frogs hit the line of scrimmage. First down on the 20. Rasco throws. Tatum was 3 yards away and got a bullet in the chest. But Rasco had to get rid of the ball or take the loss. Roper was right there.
Yeah, we're lucky we didn't have an injury on this play from this ball. You're right, Merle. Rasco, seeing the defense coming up, he just rifled the thing, and he wanted to make no doubt that he was trying to hit an intended receiver, a guy who was eligible, and he did. He hit him right in the head with it.
And Roper went ahead and completed his work on David Rasco. Second down and 10 on the 20. Rasco completes it to Waddy. And Waddy is just outside the 10-yard line, where Gary Jones, number 6, and Tony Jones, number 20, the two defensive backs, make the stop. About 10 on that one.
A lot of pressure on Rasco here. Now, this ball is a little bit underthrown. They're giving him plenty of room. Waddy has plenty of room. They don't want to give him that touchdown. And if he could just lead him a little bit, of course, that's a little bit of a corner pattern, a little square out. And it's a tough pass to throw with people breathing down your neck.
Third down, inches. Rasco has the first down as he tries to get to the corner, and Gary Jones bulldogs him down inside the 5. Gary Jones, number 6. It'll be first and goal to go for TCU as Waddy will bring the play in. He's number 26 from Coach Jim Wacker.
Yeah, pretty good drive here by TCU. A lot of third down conversions. I think that's the third consecutive third and short they've converted.
B.J. Graham is coming to the line now defensively for A&M. First and goal. Rasco makes his pitch, and TCU is going to be on the scoreboard as Bradford heads for the corner, hits the flag, is in for a touchdown, and TCU puts 6 points on the board. So the Frogs avoid the shutout. Now comes the extra point try. Lee Newman is getting his first opportunity today. Sean Millsap will do the holding. And Newman, the sophomore from Garland, pops it through. And it's now Texas A&M 74, TCU 7.
Well, Rasco does a nice job on this option. Watch him string it out. He'll take it out as far as he can until the defense reacts a little bit to him, and then he gets it to Bradford, the senior, who's really pound for pound supposedly the strongest player on the team, and he needs all of it. And what Pat needs to do is maybe get a little bit lower. Here's Rasco, who really does run the option very well. Gives him a chance to score by taking the pitch outside. And Bradford takes it, gets the touchdown, and a little shot in the chest to boot.
So TCU down now 74-7. But the Frogs have scored.
No possession is more precious than life. And no business is more rewarding than improving life. At Jefferson Pilot,
we've spent over 80 years making lives better, richer, and more secure through our companies in insurance, financial services, and communications. The Jefferson Pilot Companies. We help put a brighter face on the future.
Juvenile diabetes is not just for kids. It can strike anyone at any age.
I know. I have diabetes.
And insulin is not a cure.
I know. I have diabetes.
Juvenile diabetes increases the risk of heart disease, stroke, kidney failure, and is a leading cause of blindness.
I know. I have diabetes.
It's time we gave diabetes our best shot, a cure. Support the Juvenile Diabetes Foundation. Help us find a cure for the third largest killer disease.
Justo Gonzalez kicks off to Texas A&M, and the ball is downed by Harris back in the end zone. The Aggies will have it at the 20. It is first down for the Texas A&M Aggies, and Mark Motley, number 7, the number 3 quarterback, is going to come on to run the offense. That last drive, 65 yards. One thing about it, there were a couple of short drives due to interception, one fumble, but otherwise the Aggies have driven the ball long today. This is Mark Motley from Ore City, Texas, the sophomore. Halford is now in. He's wide in motion to the right and sets to the outside. It's Gurley. And Matt has trouble holding on to the football, but I think it was down at the 26. Nope, TCU recovered it.
Out of bounds. If this is pro football, this is a touchdown. And you're going to see some good hitting from a beleaguered defense of TCU. Watch this. Watch the Frogs come in and do some pounding here and grabbing. And then they get the bounce and the ball, but you can't advance the fumble, so TCU will take over.
So the Frogs, who scored a moment ago, have a first down on the 26-yard line to the Aggies. Jared Delaney is split out wide to the right side. Ron Giles at quarterback. Giles going for the touchdown to Delaney, and he dropped the ball. Jared Delaney. And Giles, he laid it in there perfectly, and you can imagine the frustration of Giles and Delaney for that matter.
That was a great pass by Giles. And they needed this. Delaney, I talked to Jim yesterday. He said, Jared's just got to hold on to the ball. That's been a problem. Oh, still is. Nice pass by Giles.
Second down. Giles gets hit as he throws, and that's Burnett, who is out of bounds. Terrence Brooks, the quarterback, had the coverage, number 27. It'll be third down and 10, and Nebraska jumps in ahead of Oklahoma in the first quarter at Lincoln.
First touchdown since October 11th against Oklahoma. They had not given up a touchdown. That's a good omen for the Cornhuskers, not such a good one for Oklahoma. Two powerhouses there.
Third down, 10. Outside the 25. Delaney splits out wide to the right side again. Giles to Jared Delaney, incomplete. The coverage by Brooks.
His receivers are looking back into the sun. 5 minutes to go now. Michigan, Ohio State. Wolverines by 2 points. 5 minutes to go in that one.
The sun has come out in full force now. We had fog and rain earlier this morning. This is Lee Newman. On fourth down, he'll be going from the 32, making it a 42-yard effort. He's a sophomore from Garland. Millsap to hold and does, and Newman has the distance, and he also has the field goal. Put 3 on the board for TCU. And with 9 minutes and 10 seconds left to play in this game, the Aggies lead the Horned Frogs by a score of 74-10.
Just when you need it most, Toyota introduces a roomy new kind of getaway car, the versatile new Toyota Corolla FX16. The all-new FX16 slips through traffic that snarls other cars. 16-valve quick. Time tires that stick, four-wheel disc equipped. The gutsy new Toyota FX16 went away to get away from it all. Who could ask for anything more?
Introducing gasolines that unlock the power in your car. New Gulf unleaded gasolines with high-tech Techroline. Power is robbed by intake deposits. Power is unlocked by Techroline. Techroline, so effective for clean intake systems, including fuel injectors, that it's the only additive in the gasoline chosen by all 4 U.S. car makers for their critical EPA tests. New Gulf unleaded gasolines with Techroline. Unlock the power.
That is the right score, 74-10. Texas A&M over TCU with 9 minutes and 10 seconds left to play. Justo Gonzalez will be kicking off. Scott Slater, the kicker for Texas A&M, and Slater has really been busy today. Justo Gonzalez kicking off for the 3rd time. Gonzalez from Brownsville, Texas. He was a walk-on, transferred from Texas Lutheran. That's Rod Harris back deep for A&M. Gonzalez barefoots the ball down to Harris, who takes it at his 2. And Harris gets out to the 25 to the 26. Now let's take a look at the Apple scoreboard in the Southwest Conference. Arkansas up and running today.
Yeah, on SMU 70-0 early in the second quarter. Air Force handing it to Rice, shutting him out. Baylor 12-0 over Texas. And in the first quarter, Texas Tech looking for a bowl bid, leading Houston 10-0.
First down as the Aggies have the football. The quarterback is Motley. He's the number 3 quarterback. Gurley is the lone setback, and he takes the handoff and goes straight ahead and plunges out for about 5 to the 36, where John Dull, the freshman linebacker, number 51, makes the tackle.
Gurley is the one that fumbled the ball. And a lot of times when that happens in a game like this, if you're playing defense, you look for the back to get it, because they will purposely give it to him on the next play if he had fumbled, just to get his confidence back. So you kind of lean a little bit towards that guy.
The number 3 offensive line is in there for the Aggies. Mike Arthur. And this handoff doesn't go anyplace. Bear in there to stop it up. Won't let it go at all, so there's no gain. And Michigan State has beaten Wisconsin after trailing early.
Oh! Missouri 48-0 over Kansas. Penn State, they go undefeated in the regular season. South Carolina in late in the fourth, 21-18. North Carolina has come back in the third quarter to lead Duke. And Tennessee looks like they have a leg up on that Liberty Bowl, 21-9.
Carl Harvey is now the center for the Aggies. He's over the ball. And Motley makes his pitch to Troy Jones, who's now the tailback. He's the freshman from Lafayette, Louisiana, and he moves to the 31 rather. So it's a 4th down after a gain of only 1.
A lot of starters still in for TCU on defense and still plugging away.
Todd Shantz, who is the long kicker, is in to do the punting. He's a senior from Richardson. And we have a timeout call by TCU. So the Frogs take a timeout. We have 7 minutes and 32 seconds left to play in this game. And it's Texas A&M 74 and TCU 10. And we'll be back after this message from Bud Light.
Charlie, give me a light. Charlie, a Bud Light. If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
Give me a light. Bud Light. Hey, thanks.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Can I have a light? Bud Light.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
Patrick Blair gets the basket, and the Red Raiders will try to come back with 6. Benford tipped up and in by Wachowski with 1 second left. Houston leads, 3 seconds left. The clock doesn't start till the ball is touched, and it is touched. And Benford gets the shot away. Hit it! Dixon, 2 seconds, launches the shot. He hit it! Dixon hit it! I do not believe it. And so Shantz is ready to punt the ball, his first punt of the day, and he belts a good one downfield. And a fair catch is called for by Tony Brooks and taken it about the 21-yard line of TCU. A kick of 48 yards by Todd Shantz. Talk about tradition. This baby will be set ablaze Tuesday night here prior to the final game of the year. They've been building this in preparation for the big bonfire since school started. And these logs are gathered from all over the state by students. They bring them in here. They've worked on this project constantly. They're not finished with it yet, but tell you one thing, Kevin, going to be a little heat come off of that thing, huh?
I lived in places that look worse than that.
TCU goes to the run with Patrick Bradford, and Dana Batiste, number 48, the weak inside linebacker, makes the tackle, and Wake Forest a winner today. I wonder what that does to Georgia Tech's bowl.
Well, it knocks them out of a bowl bid.